Good evening. I'm meteorologist Angela Buckman, along with meteorologist Sean Ash and Rob Ellis. Our continuing severe weather coverage back on Channel 13 because of a new tornado warning that will have an impact across parts of Clay and Owen counties. New tornado warning until 10 p.m. There have been funnel cloud sightings with this cell near and south of Terre Haute. National Weather Service has a new tornado warning. We'll dive in and show you the latest with radar on this storm. It is now pushing just east of Terre Haute. There's the new warning. Get you the info on that warning, then we'll do a track and a little more analysis on this. Rob has also been on cameras this evening, and we've been able to see kind of just how vigorous this storm has been with the rotation, and so we'll check in with him in just a second. Clay, Owen, and the far eastern sections of Vigo County, new tornado warning, radar indicated until 10 p.m. It's going to be for the area east of Terre Haute. That will take it through the northern half of Clay into northwestern sections of Owen County. New tornado warning until 10 p.m. Give you a closer view of this tornado warned storm. It is near center point right now and continuing to move east. On this view, let's check the velocity. So we had a funnel cloud reported near the Riley area with that rotation. So here is Interstate 70. Rotation is just south of 70 in between Clay City and Center Point. That's where it is right now. Both of you need to be in the safest part of your home, lowest level away from windows and doors as this storm moves off to the east. Patricksburg, you are also in the path and have just a few minutes to get into the safest part of your home. If this, we'll come in even a little closer, holds together, Bowling Green is in the path. There is 46, if you're familiar with that, south of Center Point. Let's go back to the rotation part of this storm. And you can see it here, just the brightness. That's the easiest way that we can show you. It's this area here near Saline City, Clay City. It is just now east of Riley, and that is approaching 59 at this point. There's Interstate 70. There is Highway 46. So south of 70, and where 70 and 59 intersect, and just south of there is where we have the rotating part of this thunderstorm. I'm going to do a quick track on this, and then I'll show you the other warning that we're monitoring, and take you quickly across parts of Illinois, and then we'll get it over to Rob. There is the leading. I'm going to track just the leading edge of some of the rotation with this. They've been moving east between 40 and 50 miles per hour. So on this path, Bowling Green, you've got less than 5. Patricksburg at 9:22. Cataract, that would take it out of the warned area. So we're giving you a little early heads up. Cataract at about 9:30. Spencer shortly after that. So that would move it across parts of Owen County within the next half hour or so. So this is a half-hour track on this. I want to make sure that you're prepared in advance of this storm and you have as much warning as possible to get into the safest part of your home. Let's travel east and northeast. There is a severe thunderstorm warned cell that is approaching Mooresville. Broad rotation with this severe thunderstorm warning, not tornado warning, but boy, you can see the brightness in that coloring here on the velocities, indicating a wind spike and that increased threat of damaging winds. That is approaching Mooresville right now, and it moves east. We're talking southwestern sections of Marion County near the airport, and then across northern Johnson. So it's an early heads up for you, Greenwood, Franklin, and the south side, Rob, of Marion County.
Yeah, let's show you a couple of the traffic cameras. I'll start here showing you the locations that we're tracking, and then we'll get you to some of those cameras. Right now, you are looking at Interstate 70. This is going to be very close to where that little bright spot was, just north of, say, or west of, say, Mooresville, north of Monrovia, right along Interstate 70. I have been watching the cameras there. Have been some gusty winds. Let's take you to the other camera. This is going to be Brazil. It's about the closest camera I have out ahead of this. I do have plenty of cameras in Terre Haute, but the storm, the tornadic warning that's in place right now is east of that. So we're not looking at that. So just to put this in perspective, one camera I've got is looking here. This is really in that heavy rain shield of this tornadic cell. You can see a little bit of the hook signature there with the rotation. That's where we've been seeing that strongest rotation near center point. Earlier we watched a couple of these cameras just west of where it says Riley there. We did see some lowering of the clouds. That has now all moved east because this rotation is a little bit south of 70 and continuing to head to the east. I don't know if any of my Interstate 70 cameras are going to be able to show that. About the best thing I have is that Brazil camera, and you can see there's not a lot on that camera right now. Meanwhile, the next camera that I showed you was a little farther to the east. There's that bright spot that Angela's been talking about, the strongest of the winds. You're looking at Interstate 70 right here. I have a couple of cameras right along that just to the north, but then also tracking this as it moves a little bit closer to Mooresville. The camera I showed you a little bit earlier, now starting to go visibility down to zero, and look at all of the tractor trailers and various traffic that are still on the road that are putting their flashers on, a sign of the heavy rain. So we still have the concerns for the tornado warning. We still have the gusty winds within the severe thunderstorm warning, but heavy rain is going to be a big concern, especially if you're going to be traveling this evening, which as of right now is not recommended. Angela.
And we do have a new tornado warning, Rob, for that cell that is in the southern sections of Vigo County, just coming out of eastern Illinois. That cell is a new tornado warning from the National Weather Service. I'll get you the specifics on that. This is going to include Clay, Greene, Sullivan, and Vigo. So far southern part of Vigo, south of Terre Haute, northeastern Sullivan, far sliver of northwestern Greene, and then the southern section of Clay County. New tornado warning, radar indicated until 10 p.m. So that's a new tornado warning because of a storm that is now in the eastern sections of Illinois and will continue to move east. Let me go back to that real quick just to get the specifics on how quickly. Okay, so they're still saying 45 to 50 miles per hour moving east. It helps me do some tracks for you so we can give you some times of arrival on when these storms may impact you. Do know we still have the severe thunderstorm warning, and that's going to be for southern sections of Hendricks County into Morgan, and wouldn't be surprised to have this extended off to the east, although not nearly as intense as the tornado warned storms just to the southwest. But this is kind of a view of where we're targeting the severe threat. Indianapolis, south and west. If you're north, you're not completely out of the woods, but at this point, mainly a rain event for us from the north side of Indianapolis up through Hamilton County, just north of Sheridan, into Tipton counties as well, Boone and Clinton too. And then I want to take you real quick just across the state line because we have a new confirmed tornado warning. These were a couple of storms that we were tracking in and around the Effingham area. So if you're familiar with that, that is along I-70. Couple of confirmed tornadoes here, and they have gone observed tornado warning on that. So that's another one we're going to have to keep an eye on for areas south and west of Indianapolis. 2 tornado warnings continue along and south of Interstate 70. Let's check the velocities, and we'll do a couple of tracks on these as well.
That cell that's south of Mooresville may be starting to rotate on the very south end when you get to that point, when you get to the cell. Oh,
I see, yes. We'll go there real quick. So that was that wind spike that we showed you across Morgan County. That's right along 67. So it, as Rob pointed out, maybe starting to rotate, but what we showed you was when we see that increase in the color, that indicates that the storm itself it has an increasing damaging wind threat, and we definitely saw that. So we'll wait and see if any of this starts to rotate, but we're kind of targeting that area between Mooresville and Brooklyn along 67. That is just barely west of Interstate 69. And again, we gave you the early heads up. Southsiders of Indianapolis, Greenwood, you're eventually going to be in the path of this storm as it moves off to the east between 40 and 50 miles per hour. Let's travel south and west, and there are the 2 tornado warned storms. At times we've had funnel clouds reported with this. Looks a little disorganized at this point near center point, but still showing potential wind damage spikes here, and still the possibility that it could be rotating. And that one is headed east. So Patricksburg, we mentioned you, Cataract, Spencer, Gosport, if it would hold together, we may see that warning extended off to the east or continued off to the east. And then the new tornado warning, this is going to be for southern sections of Vigo, northern Sullivan, and will also include portions of Clay County as well, including those of you in Clay City. And what we're watching here is a storm that is near Prairie Creek. So that one is just now coming out of Illinois. It's going to cross just south of Terre Haute and continue to move off to the east, impacting areas south of Terre Haute, near the Shelburne area. Think Lewis, if you're familiar with this area, in the southwestern part of our state, and then eventually into the southern sections of Clay County, including Clay City. So these are the two tornado warned storms. Obviously watching that increase in a damaging wind threat near the Mooresville area and Brooklyn, and that's still evident here on the velocities. This is how radar looks at this point. We'll come out to the big view just to kind of do a quick reset. Let's see. It looks like they've got heavy rain and pea-size hail currently at I-70 and the state line. That came in from emergency managers. Speaking with spotters in Morgan County, experiencing heavy rain, brief winds, nothing at severe limits
and that's
yet.
NDOT 2 if they want to take it. It's got quite an eerie color to the scene here. We're seeing the sun set to the west. Several of the cameras in that area, anywhere from Terre Haute to Brazil, have had this kind of pinkish tinge as the sun begins to set to the west, but it's shining through or underneath some of these extreme storms that are rolling through Terre Haute right now.
We encourage you to stick with our coverage, our continuing coverage here on WTHR Plus and Channel 13, as we do have a couple of tornado warned storms and then a severe storm potential south of Indianapolis, what's left of that severe thunderstorm warning impacting the northeastern sections of Morgan County. So we'll wait and see. Spotter in the area gave the information to the National Weather Service that it is below severe limits. So it's just something that they'll keep an eye on if they need to issue out ahead of it. That would include perhaps northern Marion, southern Marion, I should say, in the northern part of Johnson County, and then the two tornado warned storms for parts of Clay, Owen, Vigo, and northern Sullivan counties. Those are the two tornado warned storms. And boy, out across parts of Illinois, they continue to deal with the big storms so far. Lots of reports of damage. These are confirmed tornadoes now east of Effingham. And actually, while we're on this slightly larger view, I can switch it over. I'll get you a little information from the National Weather Service office out of central Illinois. They've been very, very busy so far today as far as tracking these severe storms and the potential of tornadoes. And in fact, they've had several tornadoes and several reports of damage. So that's one thing that we continue to have to keep an eye on, is these storms have a history of doing damage. Restaurants, at least one damaged, trees and power lines down, some very large hail, and now getting confirmation of a couple of tornadoes near Effingham. Those are headed toward the Robinson area, and on that path, that would most likely impact the southern half of Sullivan County. So we still have a couple of tornado warned storms at this point. Thankfully, locally, no reports of any damage yet. I will tell you the National Weather Service is still eyeing the area southwest of Indianapolis for significant tornado parameters that are still in place that would support thunderstorms producing tornadoes. So we're going to stick with this over the next couple of hours. It's almost 9:30 on a Wednesday night. It's a system we've been talking about. Yes, sir.
Sean was just saying rotation is starting to pick up here. One of the things I wanted to mention, if they want to take me over here at the weather slide, one of the cells that you mentioned over into Terre Haute also is producing a good bit of hail. And we had the report of pea-size hail along Interstate 70 in Terre Haute. You can see that on our hail tracker, the additional hail core that you can see with the other storm. But I want to go back to that traffic camera. I've been watching this, been watching several of the cameras here, not picking up any hail falling just yet, or at least it's small enough that I can't necessarily necessarily see it from one of the traffic cameras. But again, all of these cameras are having this kind of strange pinkish hue. Sometimes you get those strange colors, either a greenish or a pinkish hue, when you have these strong tornadic thunderstorms, especially as the sun sets. Let me show you a couple of other things here. I want to show you the very heavy rain that's falling along 70. I want to take you a little farther to the east at some point. Let me get you there. Stand by with me. I do want to show you what we're tracking here. If I'm able to pull it up, I'll definitely bring up the information for you. Let me reset this just to show you. One of those cells that's southwest of Indy right now, this one, the one that we just saw, is the one that I really want you to be aware of. Let me actually send things back to Angela so I can reset that camera, that view for you. That's the one I'm talking about, Angela, where I've been seeing rotation looks like it's starting to pick up just a bit there.
And that is a new severe thunderstorm warning, Rob, as we just talked about, for the northern sections of Johnson County and the southern parts of Marion County. So that is a new severe thunderstorm warning. And I will remind you, this area is under a tornado watch. The sirens that you may hear are meant for outdoor use, but sometimes you hear them inside. Don't want you to be caught off guard if the sirens would sound southern Marion into parts of Johnson, because now we have a severe thunderstorm warning in a tornado watch. And oftentimes with certain communities, the sirens will sound. And it is a cue to us as well that we need to make sure that we treat these storms, because of the tornado watch, as if they could produce a tornado with little to no warning. This is the warning, the severe thunderstorm warning. Go ahead and get into the safe part of your home. Northern sections of Johnson, that's going to be about the northern half of that county, by the way, and the southern parts of Marion County. That is a new severe thunderstorm warning that will go as far east as western Shelby County. So southeastern Hendricks, northern half of Johnson, southern Marion, northeastern Morgan, and then the western part of Shelby. New severe thunderstorm warning. This is radar indicated severe thunderstorm warning until 10 p.m. This evening. That is a new warning for us. And as Rob was mentioning, looking at some of the rotation with this, and that was one that we were kind of keeping an eye on with that wind spike. And there's definitely some broad rotation here. So you can see the brightness of the red, the brightness of the green, broad rotation at this point. But if this would tighten up, this severe thunderstorm would go from a severe thunderstorm warning to a tornado warning in a matter of seconds. And we could see that tightening happening quickly. So just know, if you are east of Brooklyn, east of 69, basically along and east of 69 and in between 69 and 65, that's where we have an increase in intensity of a severe thunderstorm, waiting to see if this rotation tightens up. But it's right over Interstate 69, headed east near Smith Valley, near Providence, and then off to the east of there we get into Greenwood and New Whiteland and Franklin. That would be along 31, and then next to that is going to be Interstate 65. So we've seen an increase in intensity of a storm that we've been monitoring, and the National Weather Service has issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. But that is a fairly significant signature. Whether it rotates or just produces some wind damage, that we need to take this one seriously now in the eastern sections of Morgan County. We also have the tornado warned storms. Those are going to be to the south and west. This area of rotation approaching Cataract now, so we're across northern Owen County, and then into the southern sections of Clay. Let me widen that out just a little bit as we go back to the west, and we're going to be picking up on a storm that's coming out of Illinois. That's the reason for that tornado warning from Lewis into southern Clay County, including Clay City. But what really stands out to me at this point, those two bright spots on the radar. One covering the northern half of Owen County, the other in the area just to the northeast of Martinsville, headed off to the east toward Greenwood, New Whiteland, and Franklin. That will head toward 31. We've been keeping an eye on radar. We've been keeping an eye on what's coming out of Illinois, and I can tell you there are still tornado warned storms, confirmed tornadoes out of Effingham headed toward the Robinson area. That is just north of Vincennes. So still targeting the southwestern part of our area for severe weather, including that tornado potential. Let's check this, and I'll get you the latest on this, and then we'll do a track, because that will give you some times of arrival of this severe storm that is east of Mooresville, crossing Interstate 69 from the National Weather Service. A severe thunderstorm warning until 10 p.m., and they have this moving east at 45. So that's been fairly consistent with the storms tonight, moving east at about 45 miles per hour. So I'm going to come out just a little bit.
And NDOT 2 is in that exact location you're talking about right now.
Okay,
they want to
perfect.
pull it up at some point.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and take that full while I do the track, you bet.
Yeah, so you're looking at Interstate 69 at Smith Valley Road. And this is the area you've been talking about, Angela, where we can see the heavy rain coming down. What I'm also watching here when I go through these cameras is how things are evolving through the last several minutes or so. I kind of switch back and forth between the two. I've been also watching some of the traffic. There's not much traffic, thankfully, that we're keeping an eye on, but you can see some of the emergency flashers on almost all of the vehicles. One as it passes under the overpass there because of the very heavy rain for the most part, Angela.
And I have to tell you, and I think I said this last night, I drove through a severe storm in Toledo over the weekend on Sunday coming back. And it was just that, the blinding rain that you can't see but a car in front of you, if that, flashers on, slowing down to about 20 miles per hour on an interstate where the speed limit's 70. It's just a good thing to keep in mind. If you have to be out and about, which we understand, life moves on even though we're dealing with severe weather, just be aware the rain is going to reduce visibility. It's coming down hard and fast enough that street flooding quickly becomes an issue. And if you're not familiar with your path, you could quickly hydroplane and perhaps spin out, have an accident. All of those are threats as we head through the next couple of hours, and especially as now we lose daylight, that high water becomes even more difficult to see. So I had promised a track on this. Greenwood, you've got a couple of minutes before the strong part of this storm is moving in. We had encouraged you with the severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado watch. Treat this as if this cell could produce a tornado. Safest part of your home is going to be the lowest level away from windows and doors. Whiteland at 9:35, Franklin 9:38, Acton, so that would impact southern sections and southeastern sections of Marion County at 9:45, and then into Shelbyville just before 10 if it would hold together. So that's the latest track on a severe storm that is the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning on it. And what we're watching, broad rotation, wind damage potential with this as it moves east of 69, headed right toward Highway 31 and Interstate 65 within the next 10 to 15 minutes. That's one area of rotation, or broad rotation and potential wind damage, I should say. The other is just about out of the tornado warned area, so we'll see what the Weather Service does with this one. Fairly significant on the velocities here, northern parts of Owen County. So let's dive in and we'll do a track on this one as well. This is near Cataract that we've been mentioning you. This is 231 as you come out of Cloverdale, and then it kind of gets a little curvy there in Owen County, but there's the area of rotation near Cataract, northeast of Patricksburg. Gosport, you're not under the warning, but we'll give you the heads up that this storm is coming your way as it moves east at about 45 miles per hour. Still a little, in Gosport, you've already got some rain. But what we're looking for on the radar is this little gap here in the radar echoes. So that's near 231 right now if this one is producing damaging winds or rotation at this point. That is one tornado warning, and then the other is for the Jasonville area, so southern parts of Vigo County into the southern sections of Clay County near Clay City. So Lewis and Wright and Clay City are in the path of that second tornado warning. We've been keeping updated from the National Weather Service. Let's come out to a big view and we'll do a quick reset. Significant storms across Illinois. Some of these have held together. Some of them, thankfully, have weakened a little bit, but we continue with a couple of tornado-warned storms and keeping an eye on that confirmed cell tornado producer just to the east of Effingham, as that one would impact areas to the south and west of Indianapolis. From the National Weather Service, let's check Looks like they're going to issue a flash flood warning for parts of central and northern Vigo and northwestern Clay. So there is going to be a flash flood warning. I think you can start to see the sliver of that. So flooding, we talked about that as well. We had all of the severe weather threats in play today. Tornadoes, damaging wind, large hail, and flash flooding. And these darker boxes that you see across Illinois, those are flash flood warnings as well. So this could be the beginning of additional warnings that would center around flooding. So that's the latest from the National Weather Service, and this coming in from Andrew from the Weather Service. Rotation on both tornado-warned storms, looking less organized. They are watching that cell that we're watching south of Indianapolis, going into Bargersville. Broad rotation with that. And no sign at this point of tighter rotation. So let me show you that. That's the one we're tracking into Greenwood and Bargersville that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it. It at times has shown that broad rotation, and we were talking about that. So Greenwood, Franklin, the rest of Johnson County, southeastern Marion, Acton, stick with us. This storm may have an impact for you, and then eventually into the western sections of Shelby County and eventually into Shelbyville. So that cell also moving off to the east at about 45 miles per hour. It has been active so far, thankfully. Sean, Rob, nothing as far as the destructive nature that we saw across parts of Illinois earlier today.
Yeah, and a couple of things I want to mention just real quickly here. I've been watching a couple of the traffic cameras both on Interstate 69 as well as what we've been seeing on Interstate 65 now as the storms continue to push to the east, mainly around this severe thunderstorm warning. That's the one that I've been mostly keeping my eye on, although I know the tornadic threat is a little farther to the west, and I'm also watching some of the traffic cameras there. One of the things I've noticed here, I've been looking at some of the radar, some of the brighter colors moving right into Bargersville. That's indicating where some of the strongest winds may be located. I wanted to get you in real close here. County Road 300 North, looks like we've had some pretty strong winds move through. This really bright spot here just south of Bargersville, that's where we could see some strong winds moving through right now, about to cross State Road 135. Here's County Road 144. So the strongest of the winds are right in this area, moving right through Bargersville. That's that very broad rotation that the National Weather Service was talking about. Let's take you here on this camera earlier. I've been watching this one. It was a little difficult to tell. We had some ponding on the roadways. I thought maybe we might have seen some hail there on one of these cameras. This one also on Interstate 69, just a little south and west of where that strongest of that cell went through. But let me show you this one. Let's take this one full because this is going to be Interstate 65. This is going to be at Worthsville Road. This is going to be where they're in that very, very heavy rain on the north and the northeast side of that cell. It's almost blinding. You can't even see it here. Notice all of the emergency flashers on all of the vehicles as they really try to traverse that really heavy rain. I mean, we can only see so far here, but imagine the drivers having to deal with the spray from the other vehicles. Very difficult travel here. And I'm going to watch this camera because as that cell that has the broad rotation continues to move east, it's likely going to pass very close to where this camera is located. So that's going to be one that I'm going to keep an eye on for sure. In addition to a couple of very minor hail cores that are showing up with a couple of these tornado warned cells. And it looks like now, Angela, they've continued that severe thunderstorm warning a little farther to the east now.
Yes, that's going to include, looks like Martinsville, and I'll get you a view of that severe thunderstorm warning. And maybe because, Rob, of the lack of rotation that the Weather Service is seeing with that, they've issued severe thunderstorm warning on that. Quite the light show. We are live in Bloomington at this hour. Bloomington, no storms overhead at this point, but boy, in the distance, you can see what's coming your way. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Newton County.
For Bargersville area.
Yes.
Okay, so Sean, let us know. We'll get off this camera and get to the radar information coming in.
Going to include Franklin, going to include Shelbyville. This is the storm that we've been following. Very tight rotation, in my opinion. As we look at the radar here, it's starting to tighten up right as on approach to Franklin. Crossing, it's going to cross 144. It's going to come in on the west side of Franklin here. So this tornado warning, radar indicated for the time being. Bargersville, the rotation is near you as we speak, but moving east as we got the hook echo here. So want folks to be prepared for that. Again, radar indicated this is going to be Shelby, Central Johnson County until 10:15. We've got an east movement at 45. So let me do a track on that particular part of the storm. This is something we've been following. I will say rotation potential is going to be south of I-70 with the storms here this evening. If you live north of 70, much of this is going to be over in terms of rotation. But here's the track. So get you into Franklin in about 5 minutes. Fairland in 10 minutes if it holds together, and Shelbyville about 10:06. Again, radar indicated. We will continue to monitor radar. It's possible that this thing could touch down at any moment there, Angela, and so we've been noticing that with these storms. If you live south of I-70, we still have several more hours to go here.
And which is the reason we kind of talked about the severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado watch. We wanted you to treat these storms as if they quickly could produce a tornado. I'm going to take you back in time because this is a storm that we've been highlighting really since the warning went out. And then we started to see those wind spikes, that increasing threat of damaging wind. And that happened near Mooresville when we were on this storm. And then Weather Service originally went severe thunderstorm warning, rotation still relatively broad, but then as Sean pointed out, just within the last couple frames, you can see that rotation really tighten up right over Franklin. Franklin, you need to be in the safest part of your home if you are not already. That's going to be the lowest level away from windows and doors. You are now under a tornado warning until 10:15 for the southern central portion of Johnson County, including Franklin. This will also include Shelbyville. Sean did a track on this. This is going to have an impact over the next half hour in between Franklin and Shelbyville. The rotation is just west of Interstate 65. Franklin, of course, 31 goes right through Franklin. The college is there as well. The main street with all the shops there, and the rotation is overhead right now along 31 and will head quickly toward Interstate 65. So if you're in the area between Franklin and Shelbyville, safest part of your home is going to be the lowest level away from windows and doors. We are now under a tornado warning until 10:15 because of this rotating thunderstorm that has pushed just east of Bargersville right now. There's 144, there's 44, and that rotation is, if not overhead Franklin, it's a minute away and continuing to move off to the east toward those of you in Shelbyville. Rob?
And that's the camera that we have up right now on NDOT2 if they want to pull that up. We're looking at Interstate 65. This is ahead of the storm. Again, we're trying to get ahead of the storm for you. Interstate 65 right at State Road 44. So this would be right at the Franklin exit here is one of the cameras that we're watching. Heavy rain ongoing, but not nearly as heavy as what we saw on the north side of the storm, where we saw the almost blinding rain. That's the heavier precipitation side of the storm. The southern side of the storm doesn't have as much rain with it, as Angela's been showing you. The hook kind of hooks it around. The other camera that I've been tracking here is on Interstate 65, a little farther to the north, just a few exits up. We're looking at, this is 300 north is where the camera is located. There is quite a bit of rain here. Again, these are the areas where we're in that northern precipitation part of the cell, where we're going to be watching to see if that system gets a little bit closer, is right here. Sean and Angela have been telling you that this is moving into Franklin, likely going to continue moving east, probably crossing 65 at some point at just about this location. I'm going to keep an eye on this camera. I'll see if there's any other cameras that have any better vantage point of this cell. The southern part of this is going to have less rain, less precipitation, and that's probably where I'm going to get a better view of that. Angela, I'll bring that to you here in just a minute.
You got it. So new tornado warning for a good part of Johnson into Shelby counties until 10:15 because of tightening rotation that happened near Bargersville. Before we got to that tornado warning, I was showing you the light show from the IU campus in Bloomington and the National Weather Service. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect. This is going to include northern Monroe, so just north of downtown Bloomington, but it is going to include Martinsville and the northeastern section of Owen County as well. So I do want to show you that storm. There's a severe thunderstorm warning here for those of you in Morgan County. It's going to be Brown, Morgan, Monroe, and Owen. So because of the storm that's coming out of northeastern Owen County. It will impact parts of Morgan, Monroe, and Brown counties. New severe thunderstorm warning until 10:15. And as we've been mentioning, there is also a tornado watch in effect. And when we have a tornado watch and severe thunderstorm warnings, it's just a good idea to treat these storms as if they could quickly tighten up rotation, very similar to what's happening right now over Franklin in Johnson County. We could see a similar setup with some of these cells that are now impacting Martinsville to just north of Bloomington, back through Owen and Clay counties just to the south of Terre Haute. And we continue to see tornado-warned storms come out of Illinois as well. So again, we just think this is just the beginning of a very active several hours for central Indiana, especially if you are along I-70 and points south. That's where the storms so far have been rotating. I do want to show you a cell that's near and south of Crawfordsville. Not severe at this point and not really showing any significant signs of rotation, but we do have to remind you that we are all under that tornado watch until 1 a.m. There's the tornado warned storm now. The rotation is pushing very quickly east of Franklin, so right over Interstate 65. We mentioned you just a minute ago, moving off to the east. That rotation is just east of Franklin now and continuing to move east. So Fairland, Smithland, and then over towards Shelbyville. So this is going to impact the central sections of Johnson County and then move into the central sections of Shelby County. Shelbyville, you are under that tornado warning at this point. Rob?
Yeah, a couple of things I'm watching here because I do want to get to some of the traffic cameras because you're talking about it moving very close to 65 at the moment. Let me show you where we are. There's Indy. Here's the tornado warnings that we've been watching, including the one that's here just over Franklin currently. Let me take you in there. Earlier, I mentioned about the precipitation on the north side of this storm. There's a lot more precipitation from New Whiteland over to Fairland, but where it's moving over Franklin, there's that little bit of a hook signature there as it's about to cross over Interstate 65, just east of Franklin. That's where I'm going to show you some traffic cameras. So this is a little farther to the north in that heaviest precipitation shield. A lot of the vehicles have been pulling over, and I've also seen some emergency vehicles moving through here. Interstate 65 at New Whiteland Road. In fact, there you see an emergency vehicle on your screen now moving onto the interstate. We are going to also show you just east of Franklin. This is that one camera that we've been watching right at State Road 44 at Interstate 65. This is the area where if we do have some rotation, it should move very, very close to this camera. I'm going to keep my eye on it. Again, right now I'm not seeing anything more than lighter precipitation here, and the lighter precipitation is because we are in that unbounded region here, the bounded region of the heaviest rainfall to the north and to the west, but out ahead of this there's not as much rainfall here, so we can get a much drier view or a much better view of anything that may be moving this way. Angela, I'm going to keep an eye on this camera. I'll yell at you if there's going to be anything that's going to be showing up here.
Yeah, and now that we've lost daylight, honestly, we have to look for flashes, power flashes, any debris that we might be able to see with the street lights from that camera, because now it's 9:48 on a Wednesday night and we've lost daylight. And that's an important note for you as we continue to deal with the threat of severe weather, the impacts in your neighborhood, in your communities, with trees perhaps down, power lines down. It just may take you a little longer to get where you're going, and those hazards become much more difficult to see now that we've lost daylight. Let's go north. We'll show you the rain, not severe here from Hartford City and Portland into Muncie and Anderson, covering Madison County. A stronger cell, but below severe limits in Crawfordsville. I want to back this up real quick and show you the movement of this, because this is moving into the Lebanon area and the rest of Boone County, Danville, Avon, Plainfield. We've got some rain, not severe. Tornado warned storm continues. The rotation part of this is now east of Franklin. Let's check the velocities on that, and there it is. Looks like it's moving just over, if not starting to push east of Interstate 65, and that is near and east of Franklin. So what we're looking at here, little red and green close together, that indicates the rotating part of this storm. And as it tracks off to the east, it's going to have an impact across parts of Johnson and Shelby County. So there is a close-up view. Yes.
Yeah, we got a new tornado warning. This is going to be a little farther to the west for parts of Morgan, Monroe, Owen counties.
Gosport and Bean
radar indicated rotation that's been increasing around Gosport. This does not include Bloomington. It's going to be north of, but radar indication indicated a little sliver actually of Monroe County. Most of this is going to be Owen and that southern Morgan County.
And the winds are picking up on that camera right over 65 where you said the rotation was, Angela. If they want to pull up NDOT 1, I believe it's on that one. And I'll see if I can get an NDOT camera back over to 69 north of Bloomington, getting ahead of the new tornado warning.
Yeah, that is an impressive view of the winds picking up there. That's Interstate 65 near State Road 44. That is an area that is under a tornado warning in Johnson County. That tornado warning extends east toward those of you in Shelbyville. The new tornado warning that Sean pointed out is going to be for the Bean Blossom area. A significant increase in rotation. And this is, if you've been with our coverage this evening, when the severe thunderstorm warning was issued, I want to back this up just a little bit. We were talking about that increased wind threat coming out of Clay into Owen counties near the Cataract area, and looked like it had broadened out just a little bit. And then you can see tightening up now just
TDS
to the
on
north
the
of Bean
Owen.
Blossom.
There's a debris signature on the Owen Monroe line.
And you're seeing that on, let's go ahead and go.
Yep.
It's on Weather Services. Got it. Shows up in the correlation coefficient.
it's there.
Pretty bright.
It's right in,
Just
it's
southeast of Gosport.
in between Gosport and Bean Blossom.
Okay, those don't happen very often.
Tornado debris signature.
Okay, so what Sean is pointing out, go ahead.
Yeah, and so basically what the radar is showing you there, now we don't know what it's hitting, but it's telling us that this is not rain. That donut that you see there,
Just crossed,
Yep.
again, this is just looking at the radar, Texas Ridge, North Texas Ridge Road, Ferry Bridge. That's the area where we're looking at the debris signature, probably east of there now.
Yeah, so now this is the first, we were worried about this, but this is the first radar confirmed tornado here. So we get different types of warnings. So radar confirming this now. This is moving east, so who should be on the lookout for this? Well, if you're in Paragon, Steinsville, and you can see where that is now. Very possible that it's, as Rob mentioned, crossed over, looks to me like it crossed over 67.
The signature just got stronger with the latest scan as well.
Yep, so this thing is, we know it's doing some damage there. Going to be crossing through the White River, so some of the areas, Whitaker, if you're familiar with where the New Salem Church is, it's moving that way. Yeah, so just southeast of Gosport. If you're in that area, you're in that tornado warning, so we're showing you a tornado confirmed tornado. And there you go, there it is right there. The worst now is east of Gosport. This is, we want you to be advised of this there, Bean Blossom. That's an observed tornado now from radar and possibly from the spotters as well. As this moves toward the east. We got it about, everything's been moving about 45 miles per hour. So not often we see that on radar, and it's kind of a, hopefully we're seeing trees and we're not seeing homes. We just don't know that yet.
The National Weather Service is saying a significant debris ball is just north of Steinsville. It's moving east at 40. It's going to be right along the northern Monroe, southern Morgan County.
There it is, right there. There's your debris ball, and that's what Rob's talking about. This is going to cross 69. Rob, I don't know what kind of camera we have there, if we can intercept that.
Between northern Bloomington and all the way up to Mooresville,
yeah,
or
that's
Martinsville.
sparse, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty sparse in that area.
Okay,
but the
so
latest scan is getting stronger.
Yeah, so what you're looking at right there, I'm going to circle it. That is a tornado debris signature. If you have anyone that you know is at the Mason Ridge camping area,
I'm glad you pointed that out.
yes, please let them know about that.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't see those often here. All right, so heading towards 69. I'm trying to
It
get
was about 3 miles from 69. I did just a little bit of a distance tool on that.
so
Closest camera I have is on N.1. It's 69 north of there, but it's going to be a few miles north.
So that is, unfortunately, that is the strongest. Now I will tell you. I'm going to pull the radar out a little bit. If you are in Martinsville, this is going to, in my opinion, let's just go back here in time. Now Martinsville, this will looks like to me it's going to stay to your south.
Ham operator from Monroe is saying significant tornado Gosport, but that's all the information I have.
Okay, yeah. I mean, based on the radar, yes, there's no doubt about it. This is what we had feared coming into today, that we knew there was some potential. Let's hope this doesn't turn into a long tracker. We can't guarantee that it's not going to. So what I want you to do, if you're in Trafalgar, if you're in Edinburgh, this is still a long way away from you. If you're just tuning in, this is a tornado confirmed, radar confirmed tornado warning. There's that debris ball crossing I-69 and going to cross over State Road 37. And that's it right there. I mean, we don't see this often. I suspect if this type of signature continues, we're going to continue to see that increase. Let's do it. I'm going to do a track on this.
Yeah, because it's about 15 miles to Morgantown and about, you mentioned Trafalgar.
Are we doing
Sean, about
35?
20.
We doing 35 on these?
They've been moving
East at 45.
Yeah.
45? Okay, so this is just a half-hour track, okay? This is not a guarantee if you're in this, but it's just moving your way. So if you're in Morgantown by 10:17, so you've got 20 minutes. I hope it doesn't hold, but we gotta treat it as it's going to.
Weather Service's wording is a particularly dangerous situation for this warning, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado.
Yeah, that's as dire as it gets. I would agree with that assessment from the folks over there. Again, Martinsville, this is going to be south of you. Paragon, the tornado is south of you. Okay, Maxwell is going to be a very close call. Let me see if I can. Let me get some other.
It's getting close to 69 at this point.
Very, very close to crossing over 69. And again, this is something we just did not want to see here. All right, let me see if I can.
Debris signatures still on radar velocity as well as.
No doubt about it. I mean, this is going to do significant damage in its path until we can suggest otherwise. Let me go back to the debris signature once again. And so again, if you're not familiar with this product, this is showing artifacts that this tornado is heading. What that exactly is it trees? Is it someone's home? That we don't know. We do know that actually, I mean, that is let me put the distance on this.
West Burma Road at North Spradling Road on radar is directly underneath the debris ball at the moment.
Okay, so that is a 2-mile wide debris signature.
And they've gone confirmed, Sean, in advance of that to include Nineveh and Nashville, so parts of Brown and Southern Johnson.
Okay, so let me pull, so there you go. And that's a smart play because remember, coming into this, we were worried about long track tornadoes, and now we may have one until this signature says otherwise, okay? If you are in Nashville, if you are in Morgantown, you're right on the edge of that polygon. If you're in Nineveh, there's Bean Blossom. If you live on Sweetwater Lake, I want you to go ahead right now, wherever your safe spot is. If you've got neighbors, hopefully they've been watching. I want you calling them and get them ready. Go to where you need to go, because until we can get a different radar perspective that tells us this is not on the ground and doing damage, you have to treat this one. This is, I would argue, this might be one of the more serious tornado signatures that we've had in our viewing area, probably since the Sullivan
Old
tornado.
State Road at Chambers Pike. It's almost directly on top of them.
Okay. Yep. So this is, again, significant tornado in progress, crossing I-69. This will be north, going to be south of you, Martinsville. Let me zoom in.
And it is dangerously close, Sean, to that Mason Ridge camping area
Yes.
that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And it is summertime and people are camping.
Yep. There you go. In fact, it is going to go over.
Yeah. The debris signature has
That
gotten
debris
larger.
signature is going to go over that camping area, and I hope to goodness they've got some shelters in there. If you know anyone there, call them immediately. This is now east of I-69. This is going to be moving,
Crossing Old State Road 37.
going to go right into that camping area. All right. Let me see here. So if you're just hopping on, we've got a significant situation here. Significant tornado in progress. Now I will tell you, there's a lot of forest area this thing's going over. Okay. But that whole camping area there, and it's going to go through, the Morgan Monroe. It's cutting through a lot of the forest right now, but it is on a beeline.
It's almost at the Morgan Monroe State Forest entrance. In fact, it may be almost over it right now.
I'd agree with you, partner. Yeah, it's going to go over that Bryant Creek boat ramp there, and go right toward the camping area.
And Ashley, we do know this crossed Interstate 69, so if you would happen to hear of any traffic issues in that area, just give us a heads up and maybe give the desk a heads up on that.
Yeah.
Whippoorwill Lake and Campground, it looks like it may be near that as well, if not maybe just a hair south of it, but it's pretty close.
I mean, again, every radar product we use, I'm telling you, I'm not saying that this is as impressive of a radar signature of a radar confirmed tornado as we've had in a bit here. All right, so if our tone is a little bit different, that's why. There are different tornado warnings. Okay. Again, I do want to let you know, if you were in Martinsville, if you were in Franklin, you're okay. You're going to get hit with the hail core, and you're going to get a ton of rain out of this. The most dangerous part, and that's right there. And we just don't see them like this, guys.
No, we don't.
We do not get a tornado debris signature like that very often. And when we do, it definitely heightens our interest. So Nineveh, Edinburgh,
Scout Ridge Nature Preserve is right next to that Mason Ridge camping area. The Oak Ridge Campground, the Morgan Monroe State Forest is all through here. But we're looking at, for those that are in this area, the Main Forest Road, and then eventually this will head over to Low Gap Road.
Yep. All right. So I've got folks that are telling me that the sirens are going off in Bloomington. I can tell you that this will stay, at least this particular tornado is going to stay north of you. Okay. This is not your storm. All right. But I can't stress it enough. Let's do this, guys. We're going to get an update on this scan here in a moment.
Meanwhile, it's about 10 miles to 135, and 135 is the thoroughfare that goes through Morgantown.
Okay, so I did a track at 45 miles per hour. It's on approach to the camping area that we talked about. Nineveh, we've got you at around 1031, but just get in the safe spot right now until we can give you the all clear on this, okay?
Yeah, we don't want you to wait.
No, do it now. Morgantown, 1019. And this just puts a pit in your stomach, and let's just hope this thing at some point decides to weaken. But there's several different ways we can show you this. We don't see this very often.
No.
So look at this. So what you're looking at, there's the tornado debris signature right here, approaching the campground that we talked about. This is what we call debris fallout. So if you're in Martinsville, the debris is actually coming down That's what we're seeing north of the tornado. That's what we call debris fallout.
And the strength of that tornado to be able to do that,
Correct.
Sean.
Yep. That's that again. This is a different type of tornado warning, folks. I'm going to take this debris
It's right over
tracker back,
Hackers Creek Road.
just so you can see the movement. This will just confirm that easterly. This will confirm that easterly movement. But more importantly, so there it is. It just started around Gosport, okay? And then the upper level wind, you see that? It's pushing the debris, blowing the debris away from the tornado. That remains in progress as we speak. We still
Debris
have
ball directly over Mason Ridge campus.
It is. It went right over that campground, right over that campground. And I just hope and pray that everybody there was in the shelter. Okay.
Ashley, that's
Low
probably
Gap Road.
another call we need to make.
I can tell you between that campground and 135, which is where it's heading, there's a lot of forest area. Can't stress it enough. If you know anyone that might have been in there, let them know. Okay, so we got a lot of. It's going to pass over Low Gap Road, and then this is going to be moving, as we talked about it. It's going to be moving toward
Morgantown,
Morgantown.
Nineveh, Trafalgar.
Yep.
And you pointed out that the debris fallout.
Yep.
If you measure that from the debris ball up to Martinsville, that's 6 miles.
Yep. That is a sign of a very, very strong tornado. Okay. It takes a lot to do that.
And I think this is a good view, showing you where the the debris ball is. And I'll keep this tool on, and then we'll do a track on it as well. But it is 7 miles from 135 and Morgantown. If we take it out 13, 14 miles to Trafalgar, 17, 18 miles to Nineveh. You don't have time to think about getting into your safe place. You need to be there. Morgantown, Trafalgar, Nineveh. If you are near Martinsville, in that area south of Martinsville to Morgantown, Trafalgar, Nineveh, Edinburgh, take the time now to get into the safe place. If you're watching us on 13, you can take the app with you. You can watch on social media. You can watch on YouTube. Don't wait in front of the television. Take the app with you and get into the safe place.
Interstate 69 looks like the traffic is nearly stopped south of Bryant Creek. There may be some debris. There's some emergency vehicles Interstate 69 as well, and traffic is stopped.
Yeah.
And are we able to see that, or you're just...
I'm working on it at
Okay,
the moment.
perfect.
No.
So what we have for you and what we've been tracking now, and I'm going to bring this out just a little bit, but I'm not going to be out for long because we have an ongoing tornado threat that is just now in the northeastern sections of Monroe County and continuing to move toward Morgan County, northern sections of Brown County. This will impact us, as Sean pointed out, Sweetwater Lake, Nineveh, Taylorsville. So this will move across parts of Brown, eventually into northwestern Bartholomew County. If you've been with our coverage, we had been monitoring an intensifying storm that was on the south side that headed to Shelbyville and into Rushville. That has weakened. That rotation, no longer a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning on that, but you do have a strong storm overhead Rushville back through Shelbyville. Our main concern is with an ongoing tornado that is northeast of Bloomington. This developed, and I do have one storm report, and I'm curious if perhaps this was the initiation of this tornado. There was wind damage near Kegel's Mill Lake at 9:36. Trees were blown down. They were estimating that time from radar, but now that cell continues to produce a tornado and a debris ball at this point. So that is our main concern at this point, is this storm here, a tornado producing cell that is just to the southwest of Morgantown. The confirmed tornado or observed tornado warning until 10:45. Sean?
Yep. So again, this is our fear, my friends. We're just not seeing this thing ease up. That's what's bothering me right now. All right, so let me clear off my track. I will tell you, in the last scan, it did look like the debris.
Looks a little better.
Yeah, the debris ball looks a little better, and I hate to say that, but velocity's not as strong. And then let's look at the debris tracker. I'll tell you this. I mean, when we talk about this debris fallout, so the tornado debris signature remains right here. It's going to cross 135. Ashley, remind me of the Girl Scout camp again, please. Gallahue, and that's in Morgantown. Okay, so Ashley tells me there's a big Girl Scout camp going on right now in Morgantown. Along 135. Based on the radar right now, boy, it's going to be close. The tornado debris signature looks like it's going to go to the south. But
not by much.
And Rob is pointing this out. There's debris. This is all debris, what we call debris fallout. North of that, all of this right here. So Martinsville, that's not the tornado. This is all debris that's getting blown away from the actual rotation that's going to be spreading north and northeast.
It looks like that Gallahue Valley camp, if that's the correct one.
Yeah.
I believe it's a bit south of where the storm is headed, but I'm trying to confirm if that's what we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, brother. All right. So let me give you another vantage point of this, and we still have a tornado debris signature that's showing up. This tornado warning still continues. Nineveh, Sweetwater Lake, Edinburgh, Taylorsville. You got to stay in your safe spots until we can give you the all clear on this. Okay? It is weakening. However, we know that the environment that it's been playing with, maybe this thing is cycling right now. Let's hope that it's beginning in a phase where we're going to lose the destructive side of this, Angela.
Let's hope, but as you pointed out, it may be cycling and it may be something that we will continue to keep you updated on. Morgantown, we've done a track on this. 10:16, Bean Blossom at 10:20, Trafalgar 10:25. There's Helmsburg Elementary School in the path, if you're familiar. Edinburgh at 10:38. So those are some of the areas that we're watching as we put a track on this. And a big thank you to the viewer that reached out to remind us about the Girl Scout camp. If you have anything like that you can get to us, we appreciate all and any information on an area that is under confirmed tornado warning at this point. And from what we've seen, everything that we've seen on radar continues to support that. And that rotation, if it's still producing, is very close to 135.
We're hearing
Spearsville looks to be in the path in between Morgantown and Bean Blossom. Yeah.
North Texas Ridge Road, which I believe we mentioned right before it crossed Interstate 69 in northern Monroe County, there may be some damage there. We're still checking into it.
Okay, and it becomes so difficult in the dark. We had our crews set and ready to help and cover severe weather, but we can't safely send them out in the dark, not knowing what this storm is producing. So it's going to take us as well a little bit of time, and spotters that have been out in daylight may not be on this storm, and it's going to take us some time to get what happened, where it happened, and any damage and things like that to pass on to you.
It looks like they have gone with a severe thunderstorm warning in advance of that now, with a tornado possible tag.
This is for the Bloomington.
No, this is for the storm that we are on, and I think it's based on the rotation has weakened. It'll probably pop up on your on your box here in just a moment.
I'm just wondering if the circulation has recycled just just north of Bloomington. I don't know if you can see the additional circulation.
Yes, yeah. So we got two different. Yeah, I'm with you on that, my friend. We've got two different situations. So if you are in Bloomington, you're now under a severe thunderstorm warning. It's very possible your sirens are going off, and that would be for good reason. We're under a tornado watch. Let me show you the new severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, it's for the cell that has produced the tornado, but I think what has happened is that the rotation has weakened enough that they're going to go with severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. So that's what we're seeing. With that said, I still want you in your safe locations: Nineveh, Sweetwater Lake, Edinburgh, and Taylorsville. Morgantown, you should have already been in yours until we can give you the all clear. If you are in Trafalgar, Spearsville, I want you in your safe spots, because again, just because we're not seeing a tight circulation and a tornado debris signature now, which we're not, that's not to say that that could not change at the drop of a dime. Okay, and then as Rob pointed out, and I've had some folks in Bloomington ask me about, and then there's the tornado warning, Rob. There you go.
Yeah.
So now we're going tornado warning here. Let me clean this up.
I was getting much more concerned about that one, especially given the last scan.
Okay. So there's the tornado warning. All right. That will include Bloomington, and that's going to, and what Rob is saying, this thing is cycling now. So if you're in Bloomington, and if you're in Nashville, and if you're over Lake Monroe, especially the let's put it this way, the northern portion of Lake Monroe, you need to be in your safe spots. And let's go to the velocity on that. Now, that's going to be radar. Okay, so this is going to be a different tornado warning. This is a radar indicated. This is not radar confirmed. This is a different set of situation. However, safe locations, IU's campus, Bloomington, lowest level, until we can give you an all clear on this as well. That's a radar indicated tornado that's moving east at 45 miles per hour. So multiple things going on here, and we are still seeing debris fallout, and actually quite a bit of it that's falling out across parts of Morgan and Johnson County. It's possible that if you're in Franklin, you might be seeing some of this. And let me circle it. This is debris from the tornado.
Yeah, and that's helpful because this is a product we don't show, honestly, very often, because we don't use it very often, because it doesn't happen very often.
And sometimes when we do see a tornado debris signature, Angela, like we had earlier, we don't get debris fallout. The fact that we are, and when we say debris fallout, the upper level wind is taking the debris from what undoubtedly was a significant tornado that's occurred. It's taking that debris and it's pushing it away from the tornado. So it's pushing it in this direction. Now what's left of that circulation remains, let's go ahead. It's more of a broader circulation. Yeah.
I'm also wondering if there's a new circulation that's forming almost directly over Morgantown. It's almost like the radial.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see that.
I agree with you. Yeah, Rob.
Right over 135.
Yep. Yep. And look, and the tornado warning still continues, right? Martinsville, you're fine now. Okay. Morgantown, you should be in your safe spots.
Bloomington as well. Nashville.
Yeah, so we've got multiple areas. And just like we saw with this particular, the northern Morgan Monroe, the northern Monroe County tornado, this thing can develop rather quickly. We can go from 0 to 100 very quick.
Yeah.
And that was the fear we had this evening. I'm going to get in a very tight. You know what, Rob? Oh yeah, Rob's got that Bloomington camera.
Yeah, there is a Bloomington camera, and you could see the sideways rain on that, and the wind really coming down.
This is from the IU campus. That's the campus view. But Rob, is that NDOT1, my friend?
That is NDOT1, yes, sir.
Yeah, if you guys want to take that NDOT1, so that's the Bloomington. We're going to keep eyes on both of these cameras because to me, it appears the circulation is very, very close to IU. We're getting a new scan in right now. Even if you don't get tornadic wind, there's potential for some significant wind with these storms.
And you think about that over Lake Monroe as well.
Yep.
You know, who may be out there, something to be concerned
Yeah, let's
about.
take.
Yes, you're right. Lake Monroe, I mean, it's busy this time of year. It's summertime. I got a note from a friend that has campers in Seymour. So there are a bunch of campgrounds in this, you know, the southern part of our area, and very busy this time of year with kids out of school, summertime camps. And so we just want to make sure that if you are watching across the southern part of our area, that you are prepared and have been prepared for severe weather, and especially when we are away from home, maybe not dealing with the best cell service, that we have to have other ways to get warnings. And that's a good view, Rob, of all of the warnings that are in play, including those of you in Bloomington, Nineveh, just west of Columbus, Edinburgh, you're in that confirmed tornado warning area, and then we've got Steinsville, Bloomington, into the northwestern sections. That's going to be Jackson County, northwestern Jackson County, just northwest of Seymour. I've got a view as well to show you of, we've got the velocities on here, we've got the warnings as well, and it shows you the circulations that we're keeping an eye on, which is the reason we've got those two cameras up, one from the IU campus and the other one that was just near the interstate there, just outside of Bloomington. But there's the circulation with that right overhead Bloomington, pushing east of Interstate 69. There's the confirmed tornado warning that continues. And as Sean and Rob pointed out, a new circulation could be forming there near Morgantown. And so we'll give you a close-up view of that. And then we'll be checking the other severe things we can use on radar to show you that. But that is, if you live near Spearsville, even though this one looked like it may have cycled and we lost a little bit of the intensity in the debris signature with that, Spearsville, just southeast of Morgantown, and then on that path, what we're watching is this area here, east of 135, moving east toward Nineveh. Nineveh, you are still in that confirmed tornado warning. Edinburgh, you are as well. So if we start to see this ramp back up, those are two communities that are now in the path of this, Nineveh and Edinburgh. There's Highway 31, and then Interstate 65 a little farther to the east there. Also want to show they're kind of moving the camera, so Rob is looking. He's going to give me the high sign if he's got something. There's the circulation in and around the Bloomington area. That is near 446 east of Interstate 69. We've got some rotation here near the IU campus, and that is tracking off to the east. Basically, it's going to move right along 46 at this point. Even if this isn't producing, we've got some brightening of what you see on radar with these velocities, indicating the strengthening of this storm. We've been monitoring two areas of rotation at this point. One is to the approaching the Edinburgh area. That's this area here, and the other one is near Bloomington, and those are the two that we're monitoring locally. There is another tornado warned storm in the southwestern part of the state that's going to include the western sections of Greene County. We have an active radar by far. Our main concern is with a confirmed tornado warning for parts of Johnson County and then into portions of Morgan County and Brown as well. This continues to move east, and that new tornado warning for the Bloomington area and points southeast. Let's put the velocities back on, and we'll continue to do some of our analysis. We've got the cameras out of the corner of our eyes, and what we're watching still is that area right over Sweetwater Lakes. This was one that Sean gave you the early heads up several minutes ago, and now that circulation is overhead. Nineveh, Sweetwater Lake headed toward Edinburgh and Taylorsville. You need to be in the safest part of your home. This has had a confirmed tornado on it, and that warning continues. Circulation near Bloomington and just southeast of there as well, also headed toward the southern sections of Brown County. So those are the warnings, and you can see it south of Franklin, really impacting that area, head toward Edinburgh and Taylorsville, and then just to the east, sliding east of Bloomington at this point. Those are the latest on the tornado warned storms, and we have a couple of them. Let's see.
It does appear that the circulation's become much more broad, and,
Okay.
I'm also noticing that those same cells that are under the tornado warning, there's a good bit of wind out ahead of it. They may be tapping into the low-level jet just a bit, so it wouldn't surprise me if we saw some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts ahead of those cells.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be a pick your poison kind of deal here. Are we getting a tornado? Or are we going to get significant wind, as Rob's talking about? Because that low-level wind, unfortunately, is going to keep the southern portion of these storms going. So, yes, it is broad rotation. We just have to watch the evolution, and speaking of evolution, you know, we have seen our biggest fears, unfortunately, come true with this storm that went through Owen County, Morgan Monroe Forest.
The shear track will give you a good idea of where those have gone.
Hang tight there, and you're right. There you go. And that's what Rob's talking about. You can see that strong rotation, okay? And then as we play back, and let me take off the polygons here just so you can see for where this started, right there near Gosport, and then that thing really got broad as a big tornado, and then you'll start to see it getting blown, the debris getting blown north into Johnson and Shelby County, and still into Johnson County. Yeah, and Shelby County is getting some of the debris blowout from that tornado. That's not on the ground now. We have multiple tornado warnings here. I will tell you, we do have storms and downpours, and we're still technically under a tornado watch along and north of I-70. This is the show. This is in my opinion, the severe threat is pretty much over. We're still going to have some heavy storms, but we're talking, these are the storms that are of the most concern here, is going to be south of 70 and on the southern end of it. So again, multiple tornado warnings. We've got crews that are checking in. Numerous trees down on Steinsville Road. That's not a surprise. You mentioned Steinsville multiple times, right?
Yes, it was in the path for sure.
Yep.
And Andrew out at the Weather Service taking info on perhaps some northern Monroe damage. So again, it's going to take us a while to get, and it may take a couple of days to get all of the information to you on what has happened tonight, but the warnings do continue.
Yeah, the warnings are going to continue. We still have rotation, and as we have talked about, there are different types of tornado warnings. The two that are currently in place right now are for radar indicated rotation. And I think that is important to note. Now I mentioned the severe threat for Indy and North is over, not necessarily heavy rain and thunderstorms. And we're still under a tornado watch. So we're going to be watching the radar closely. We've just noticed this trend that the southern cells south of I-70 are being able to tap into the low-level wind field that Rob's talking about. And Rob, man, as we get in on that storm, now I'll say this, Bloomington, you're good, you're done. But east of Bloomington, that's rated. Let's see what we're getting on the.
Yeah, it's been the east side, and I've been moving some of the cameras to try to get ahead of this as
60
well.
plus on the radar there. And we know that the low-level wind field's been a little bit greater than that. Okay, so if you're just hopping in, this is continuous tornado warning coverage.
And Sean, if I could, what
Yeah.
you're showing there with the tornado warning, the two different tornado warnings, I want to break that down for you for some of our viewers that may not understand some of the different colors. Why are there different tornado warnings? Very briefly, I want to do this so you understand the difference. A typical base level tornado warning is radar indicated. So the radar has identified the same rotation that we've been looking at. Take that a step further and you have radar confirmed. This is the debris, and we have seen some of those tonight with detected debris within both the circulation as well as showing up on the reflectivity. In addition to that, if it changes to that pinkish purple color that you've been looking at, that's where we have it's observed. We know it's going to be on the ground. We have visual confirmation of it, or there's such a well-defined radar confirmation of the debris signature that we know this is on the ground. What we don't want to see, and thankfully we have not seen it tonight, and I hope we do not see it, is a tornado emergency. When that comes out, the National Weather Service only rarely issues a tornado emergency when there is a large, violent tornado that is on the ground that is an imminent threat to life. More specifically, this is what happens when a large tornado is heading into a well-populated area. Hopefully, we won't see that situation tonight. Things were trending in a better direction, but this will give you an update between what's the red color of the tornado warnings and this pinkish purple color when they are observed. Just wanted to make sure for our viewers out there that they understood the difference in those two types of warnings that you're looking at.
All right, thank you, buddy.
And those warnings are still in place. And I can't tell you, a big thank you to our viewers who are reaching out. We have folks that have boys on the Lake Monroe area, a Boy Scout camp, hundreds of boys on Lake Monroe that would be in the path. So Sean, that's a better view just to kind of show you where Lake Monroe is in relation to the tornado warning.
Yeah, and so remember, it's a massive lake, right? So depending on where they are relation to the lake, conceivable that we're talking about the north side of the lake here. So the Pine Grove recreation area, the Crooked
she
Creek.
mentioned 446, where 446 is near Lake Monroe. So that may be there on the northeast side.
Yeah, it is. It kind of goes right across there. So you see 446 right there. So let's get into the radar velocity.
It may be tightening up a little bit too.
Yep, it's really close. There's a couple of areas of where it's tightening up. And there you go, right there. I would argue that it's actually moving east now. So it's actually moving, it's becoming more of a Brown County issue.
Okay, they're along 46?
Yeah. And so there's 446. So the rotation now is east of 446. What Rob was talking about, where it's tightening up, is right here. This area right here, okay? Now we're gonna be talking about getting into the Brown County Forest, but there you go. Bloomington IU campus, and if this rotation continues like this, Angela, I think you're probably that's going to be northeast of Lake Monroe.
Okay.
And south of Nashville, it looks.
South, yeah. So
our shear product is doing a really good job, basically in those two tornado warned areas, and it might be easier to see where it is in relation to, without kind of the clutter of the radar, where the rotation is.
Yeah, that's a good call there. And so the strongest kind of matches up. I'll circle. This is the zone right here. Okay, so that's going to be moving almost due east. It's going to be going right through the forest. It's going to be heading toward eventually Bartholomew County. So we may get an extension in this. We're not completely done with that. And then we've got the additional tornado warning that includes Nineveh. Let me see and just double check here. So we're not seeing radar confirmed. We're not seeing the tornado debris signature. This is radar rotation that's caused this. But we're getting a new scan in right now.
It's going to be approaching, that circulation will be approaching the west gate entrance of Brown County State Park.
And that, we just had one that went through the park a few years ago. Now this is not radar, this is not confirmed right now, but that rotation is going to be cutting right across the park and it'll take a very similar path. And then again, tornado warning if you're in Taylorsville, and this moved over Atterbury. It's actually over Atterbury now. It's probably going to be east of Atterbury. Taylorsville, the north of Columbus. So that's tornado warning as well.
Yeah.
These are, again, important to point out, as Rob was talking about, these are radar indicated. Let's hope we don't see any more radar confirmed.
Yeah, because once we started talking about camps, now we've got, dozens of our viewers reaching out. There are other camps in St. Paul, which isn't too far away from Shelbyville. So let's give you a quick reset, and then we'll go back to those tornado-warned storms, just to kind of give you an overall picture of the storms that we're dealing with. Not severe, heavy rain downtown Indianapolis, threat of flash flooding now in areas north and west of Bloomington. Those are flash flood warnings you see from Terre Haute to Center Point, to just northwest of the Bloomington area and south of Greencastle. So those are flash flood warnings that continue. There is a tornado warned storm for Greene County that is going to include Linton, and then the tornado warned storms that we have up just now east of Bloomington, and we'll do a deeper dive on those as well. Heavy rain on the east side. We've got heavy rain along I-74 through Shelby County into Rush County. Not severe at this point, so our focus continues to be on a couple of rotating thunderstorms, and this is our concern as we look ahead. So let's put our shear on here, and that you can see that our shear product, the rotation detector, is picking up on those two areas of rotation. One northeast of Lake Monroe. This is now in the western sections of Brown County, just southwest of Nashville. And we've got another little pocket. This was that confirmed tornado warning that moved across portions of southern Morgan, northern Brown, portions of southern Johnson County. It's now into northwestern Bartholomew County, getting ready to cross Interstate 65. And as we put the tracks on this, you can really see the cells that have caused all of the problems tonight, and there are three of them. The one that impacted northern Johnson with a tornado warning. There's the confirmed tornado warned storm that developed across parts of northwestern Owen County. We had another across southern Clay that we think did some damage in Monroe County, and that continues to move off to the south and east. Unfortunate that it's happening on a summer night when we know it's summertime. A lot of people are out. A lot of people are camping. Life doesn't necessarily stop or slow down when we have severe weather. We just hope that folks took the time to prepare in advance of today, knowing that severe weather, including tornadoes, were going to be possible. And unfortunately, that threat continues across parts of central Indiana. We'll go to the velocities because this is going to show us where we have those two areas now of rotation. We showed you that with the shear product as well. It is just to the southeast of Nashville. So that's headed into Becks Grove. There's Elkinsville, there's Stonehead. This is 135 south of 46. Tightening a little bit and brightening a little bit, indicating the intensity of this tornado warned storm. And then to the north, the rotation on this one, a little broad, but it's right over Taylorsville. So we had mentioned you Edinburgh and Taylorsville, and that is where the rotation with this storm is. National Weather Service out ahead of it has issued severe thunderstorm warnings, but what we found is they want to make sure everybody in advance of these storms knows that these storms are coming. So even if you don't get the tight rotation, you don't get the tornado producing part of this, you don't get the wind damage part of this necessarily, they want you to be in the safest part of your home and know that these storms are moving in. That's now going to include Columbus, south to Seymour. We have severe thunderstorm warnings.
And both NDOT cameras 1 and 2, if they want to pull those up, are along that same area that you're talking about. This one at Interstate 65 at State Road 46. I believe this one's a little closer to Columbus. And then the other NDOT camera, this is very close to Taylorsville, kind of the Edinburgh area that you're looking at, I-65 at US 31. Both of those cameras, I'm keeping my eye eye on. Wind has been picking up a bit. You can see that in the sheets of rain crossing across the headlights of the vehicles as they go by. Many of the vehicles are putting on their flashers. There's also been a few emergency vehicles that we've been tracking, and it looks like a few vehicles may have stopped under the underpass, which we advise you not to do, but likely trying to avoid the heavy rain, just not the safest place to be in this type of situation.
No, it is not, because the wind can actually increase and cause more issues if you are under one of those overpasses. So yes, not a good idea. And that was one of the messages we tried to get across, that if you had to be out today or tonight with dealing with this threat of severe weather, when that alert goes off, if you're in your car and you've got your phone, do you know what to do in the event of severe weather? And the best advice is, one, not to be there, or two, you need to get into a sturdy building. That's one thing we told our crews today. If they were going to be in harm's way or in the path of severe weather, they needed to be next to, within 5, 6, 7 feet of being able to jump into a sturdy building for their own safety. We still have a couple of active tornado warnings. Let's do this. Let's get you caught up on all of the times. And this is a tornado warning for Bartholomew, Brown, and Johnson until 10:45. And then east of there, that's going to include northern Bartholomew. That's going to go until 11:15. A severe thunderstorm warning for now, radar indicated. And then south of there, to cover the rest of Bartholomew County, a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:15 as well. This will include Columbus and Seymour. So parts of Bartholomew, Brown, Decatur, Jackson, Jennings, and Monroe counties. That severe thunderstorm warning until 11:15, and then the tornado warned part of that cell until 10:45. So we've got another 5 minutes or so on those 2 tornado warned storms. And out ahead of that, the National Weather Service has issued severe thunderstorm warnings, and what appears to be a little tightening, I'd say, of that cell. South of Nashville, don't you think?
Yeah,
approaching there. What is that?
100%.
It's very strong rotation. It's broad at this point. But
Okay.
boy, it's really intense rotation broadly.
Okay, and that's right over 135 and Pikes Peak.
Yeah, it's right over it's over the forest.
Okay.
Or excuse me, the Brown County State Park. Yeah, that's going to be moving toward. I tell you what, if you live on Grandview Lake, it's going to be a close call. If you're in Story as well, that's where that the tight rotation is at this time. These continue to be. Let me double check here. Yeah, we need to keep an eye on the debris tracker on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that as well. I think there's a little bit of the fallout that you were talking about earlier may have muddied the atmosphere just a little bit.
Okay, so there it is approaching. So again, that's in the heart of the Brown County forest now. There's 135. And then I mentioned Grandview Lake is right there. You are in the tornado warning polygon. You should be in your safe spots until we can give you the all clear on this. There's the rotation. That's that tight red and green next to each other. And then that's going to be moving east-southeast. All right, so if you're along 65 there's Seymour down the road. They've allowed the tornado warning. It looks like they've allowed that to expire, and they've gone with a severe thunderstorm warning, at least for now. That'll definitely be subject to change. If it were me...
And it did just change, Sean.
Okay, there you go. All right, so there's the new tornado warning that's been issued. And this is a radar indicated tornado. This warning will go until 11:15 p.m. There's the rotation that we talked about.
And Sean, talk a little bit about, you and I had been mentioning these are broadly circulating, but if that circulation tightens up near the surface, there's not going to take much for it to tighten up so quickly. We saw that with the previous tornado warning.
Yeah, I always use the figure skater, as the example there. When the arms are out, it's more of a broader rotation. When the arms come in, that rotation tightens up. We've started to see that tightening of the rotation, and that's why the tornado warning was extended to the east and southeast. And let me So I want to give folks a heads up on this, and I also want to keep an eye on the debris tracker. Okay, we don't have a debris signature right now, thank goodness. We know that could change. All right, so most of these have been moving east to southeast. So let's take it that direction at about 45 miles per hour. Seymour, I'm going to get you in this. I'm not saying it's heading directly toward you, but that gets to you roughly 25 minutes, give or take. Bethany, here in the next 5 minutes. Jonesville, about 11:04. All right, so strong rotation. Radar indicated at this time, but that is real tight circulation. It's moving across the Brown County forest. Let me get in a little closer here on this real quickly, Angela, and I'll toss it back over to you. So there's Beck's Grove, there's 135, there's Story. Yeah, so there's a lot of forest, but we do have some communities too that's going to be in its path there. Waymansville, you know, again, Grandview Lake, the circulation may stay just to your south, going to be close call. And then we're going to be talking about I-65 and down toward perhaps Seymour, okay?
Sean?
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can pass along some information we just got in. We mentioned North Texas Ridge Road a bit earlier in the broadcast. We've now gotten confirmed from the Monroe County Emergency Manager Director the collapse of a roof at a home on Texas Ridge Road with entrapment.
Okay.
That's all we know at the moment, but we do have that confirmed. And I believe we have a crew headed to that area. So the area Texas Ridge Road, it looks like we've certainly got some damage, and unfortunately now we may have someone trapped.
Okay, all right, that's not what we wanted to hear. So we've got multiple tornado warnings. Linton under a tornado warning as well. And that warning, that rotation not as strong. I don't like that rotation that I see over Brown County right now. Southern Bartholomew County. If you have anybody that you know is going to be driving across I-65, they need to avoid this storm. This thing is going to go right over the interstate. There's the tornado warning polygon, Angela.
Yep, and you said 65, so in between Jonesville and Seymour is where the track of the tornado warning goes, the tornado warning polygon. And we've seen some, obviously, as you've been pointing out, some intensification of a tornado warned storm that is near Beck's Grove. We'll dive in a little deeper on this storm and give you just some of the smaller areas that will be in the path of this. So this is just southeast of Nashville in Brown County, and Beck's Grove, Jonesville, Seymour, you are in the path of this. Looks to be just south of Columbus right now, and we continue to get radar updates on this storm, but it is a tornado warned storm that will be something that we have to keep a very close eye on as it is approaching Interstate 65.
And I've moved the traffic cameras ahead of that, so we'll keep an eye on those as well.
So I'm going to widen out just a little bit. And this is the cluster of warned storms right now. What really stands out is the strengthening cell southeast of Nashville, headed southeast in between Columbus and Seymour, mainly impacting southern Bartholomew and the northeastern sections of Jackson County, far northwestern Jennings. That is a new tornado warning. Tornado warned storm just northeast of Columbus as well, with some circulation that will be moving toward Hope. We need you to be in the safest part of your home, lowest level, away from windows and doors. So that's kind of the cluster of warnings that we're monitoring.
It's hard to tell, but there may be some debris starting to show up on that circulation.
Okay.
It's real difficult to determine. It's certainly tightened up quite a bit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, partner.
So it's hard to tell. Sometimes the hail core obscures the view a little bit, but sometimes it could also be debris. That one's a tough one.
But definitely a tightening circulation.
Yeah, that's a really, really strong velocity signature.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the warning goes until 11:15 for those of you across Bartholomew, northern Jackson, northwestern Jennings, and southeastern parts of Brown County. So that's one of 2 tornado-warned storms that we continue to track on this, what has been a busy Wednesday night. If you've been with our coverage, we've got our crews working safely, some remotely trying to gather information. Our Samantha Johnson is one of those. She is still waiting to get some information on Morgan County and State Road 67, but she's been on the phones trying to reach out to get some information, and she did pass along to us the one from entrapment confirmed from Monroe County EMA, so that was on Texas Ridge Road. That was one of a couple of storms that we've been tracking that appear to have done some damage, one in Monroe County, and the other was a radar confirmed. And we're going to take radar back for you in just a minute, but I don't want to go too far back yet because we are still dealing with the threat of tornadoes right now. One east of Columbus and one just to the northwest of Seymour at this hour. Anything coming up on the debris? Obviously not as strong as what we saw with the one earlier. But
Certainly not, yeah.
But definitely seeing some tightening there just to the west of Interstate 65. We do have a couple of cameras in that area. One is going to be near State Road, I think 11 and 65. So that's, we've got a couple of cameras within this vicinity that we will continue to keep an eye on as the rotation is just now west of Interstate 65.
Yeah, it's crossing over. It's crossing over the Lutheran Lake as it goes toward Mount Healthy. Beck's Road. It's not highly populated. But again, heading towards 65 there. The sheer, if you use the sheer like you were talking about there, Angela, you'll see the lake on there. And yeah, there's Mount Healthy. This is going to be, I mean, it's on a beeline. It's on a beeline to go right. It's over at Mount Healthy now, crossing 58, and it's going to go right across I-65, this tightening circulation.
And both of our NDOT cameras are in that location. They may be a little bit south of there, but depending on the trajectory, I may be able to adjust.
So why don't I, let's do this. So if you're in the western part of the polygon, you know, if you know anyone that's in the Brown County State Forest there, it's east of there now. Elkinsville, you're fine. Downstream, however, Jonesville.
I think there's a debris signature starting to show up.
Yeah, it's close. It's real close. I see what you're saying. Let me back it up a few frames here. Yeah.
Just west of 65.
Yeah.
Yeah.
West of Jonesville, west of Rosstown.
Correct. Yeah.
And then east of 58.
It's certainly not as well defined as the previous debris ball in the northern part of Monroe and on Morgan County line, but it's where that circulation is tightened up. It's starting to work.
Yeah, Jonesville. If you're along 60, you know anybody along 65 there from Jonesville towards Seymour, anywhere along that stretch, you need to be in your safe spot until this thing can pass over. And you know, I'm going to do a track on this. Get some time of arrivals. That is a big spin there. Let's get you there. So there's some ETAs. Seymour, roughly 15 minutes, give or take. Elizabethtown, less than that. Jonesville, roughly 10-15 minutes on that path there. Radar for right now. Radar indicated tornado warning, and then. Northeast Bartholomew County, also tornado warning, radar indicated. So we have 2 separate tornado warnings that are splitting, one northeast of Columbus, one south of Columbus. Both, as we talked about, radar indicated rotation. Greensburg now under a severe thunderstorm. That's what's left of the supercell that produced the tornado.
Okay.
the confirmed tornado.
Starting to get some more information. Again, our Samantha Johnson working to get us the latest on road closure, State Road 67 at Arthur Road. That will be temporarily shut down for tree removal. So that's State Road 67. And we talked about this earlier. It gets so difficult when we lose daylight to see any of these hazards. So if you can avoid traveling and let the folks that need to get in there to get trees and power lines removed, that is the best advice. And she also just heard from a farmer on Liberty Church Road, just east of 69 in southern Morgan County, confirmed that the storm went just south of that location. And she said that's relevant for folks in the area. So I'm just passing on some information that our Samantha Johnson is working hard to get for us on some of the damage reports coming in and some road closures along 67 due to tree removal. We still have tornado warnings in effect. This is a large view of the radar. Not severe necessarily, but flash flooding a threat in between Terre Haute and Bloomington. We have tornado warned storms in between Seymour and Columbus, several severe thunderstorm warnings as well, and most concerned with the circulation that is near 65 right now and Jonesville. On this path, the worst of the circulation stays just north of U Seymour. So just north of U Seymour, but is moving right toward Jonesville. You need to be in the safest part of your home, lowest level away from windows and doors. That tornado warning goes until 11:15. We've got what's left on a tornado warned storm northeast of Columbus. The worst of that is making its way in now into Decatur County, and the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning on this one. Severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30 for Decatur County, Greensburg, Milhausen. That is going to include you. Severe thunderstorm warning still technically under the tornado watch, and we have seen several areas of rotation within these severe warned storms and several tornado warned storms as well. The tightest area of circulation approaching Jonesville and Interstate 65. Again, we've got some cameras in the area. Maybe we can pull up that NDOT camera. Quite the light show at this point in terms of lightning, heavy rain coming down in this area along Interstate 65. As we move south of Columbus through the southern sections of Bartholomew County, and the tightening circulation continues to move east toward the Jonesville area. And again, I believe we've got a camera. NDOT 1 and 2 might be in the same spot.
They're both very close to Jonesville, right at 65. They may be just a little bit south of there.
Okay, maybe we can pull those up so we can get a view of what we're seeing outside. I realize it's dark, but it does give us a different vantage point of what we're seeing on radar.
I wonder if there's actually two circulations, or maybe a satellite tornado or something just south of there. The circulation, it almost appeared there were two circulations that I was noticing about to approach 69.
So near Jonesville?
Yeah, just to the west. The new scan is not as well defined, but back a scan, it did almost appear as if there were two circulations, or maybe just some extremely strong inflow ahead of it. But boy, it's much tighter than it was.
Okay, and like I said, we do have a camera. Can we pull that NDOT camera up so folks can see what we're watching? Unfortunately, some traffic in this area we've seen in several occasions tonight when we've got traffic going. Either one. I'll take either NDOT. There you go. Again, quite the light show. At times, we've seen traffic stopped. There were reports of that along Interstate 69 when the tornado warned storms were moving near the Bloomington area. So that's one vantage point, and this is the other vantage point. Again, I realize it's dark. We still have some traffic moving in this area, plenty of lightning, and the threat still of a rotating thunderstorm as it moves over the Jonesville area just to the north of Seymour. That's the latest on the tornado warning. Again, we are continuing to get information in from the National Weather Service, from our viewers, spotters. Everyone has been a huge help in getting us information to pass along to you. A couple of circulations Rob was pointing out here appears to be a little more disorganized at this point as far as a tornado-producing thunderstorm that is still a threat, and we need you to still be in the safest part of your home. That tornado warning will go until 11:15. What's left of that tornado warned storm, National Weather Service issues severe thunderstorm warning for Greensburg and the rest of Decatur County. As I mentioned, we're going to end up with probably several areas of damage south of Indianapolis. It is going to take time and some patience in order to get all of the information and most importantly, keeping people safe. So we hope we get some good information from that entrapment that we heard about in Monroe County.
And I may have some from one of the ham radio operators in Monroe County. They do have Buskirk Road, 1 mile south of Burma Road. This is going to be right on the Monroe-Morgan County line. They've got a line of damaged, healthy trees. We're talking 2 foot in diameter trees that are down, several trees on vehicles, and several homes with extensive siding and roof damage. Again, this is coming from a ham radio operator, but through the National Weather Service. County EMS apparently is on the scene, and they're attempting to at least clear the blocked roads with chainsaws, and so the emergency managers there are aware of this.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many parents have reached out knowing that it's summertime. We've got kids out of school, kids attending camps, and there have been several. Camp Allendale, Camp Rancho, that's northeast of Nashville. The Bill Monroe Festival Grounds has a bluegrass festival that was set up. Camp Lakeview, Flat Rock River YMCA in St. Paul, Randsburg Scout Reservation. Again, we understand. We tried to get to as many of those views as we can, and hoping that camp counselors, camp leaders knew in advance that this was coming, as far as preparing days ahead of time for severe weather. And that's why we always encourage you to practice those safety plans, review them, especially when we know in advance of a situation like tonight. Most likely we're going to end up with several confirmed tornadoes and several areas of damage, unfortunately, south of I-70 in terms of storms that produced tornadoes and storms that did produce damage. This is the latest on the warnings. I've got the velocities on here, just makes it slightly easier for you to see. A weakening circulation, that is some good news. There is a camp down there in Seymour. That is some good news for that camp. This is right over Jonesville and pushing east. The circulating part of that storm is just north of Seymour, crossing Jonesville and Interstate 65 and Highway 31. We are south of Columbus. This is one of a couple of cells that we continue to keep an eye on at this hour, and continue to take in all of the information from spotters and the National Weather Service across central Indiana. This is how the view looks. By the way, you are watching Channel 13, our news at 11. We want to make sure that you are aware we are continuing our severe weather coverage, 13 News at 11, as we've been dealing with severe weather across central Indiana for the last several hours. Tornado-producing thunderstorms. Lots of damage reports coming in. It is going to take days, if not weeks, for surveys, for cleanup, for us to get all the information to you. But do know that we've got crews out in the field monitoring all of the latest information. Samantha Johnson, one of those reporters that basically has been on the phones keeping track of the damage that's coming in from places like Monroe County and Morgan County. We may end up with some damage in Johnson County, and now we've got tornado warned storms just to the south of Columbus. I'll give you a close-up view on that, and then we'll get over for a quick check with Rob and Sean. This is the latest tornado warning for Hope. Will last for a few more minutes, although that cell for the most part has made its way into Greensburg. That's a severe thunderstorm warning for you. There's the tornado warned storm for Jonesville and Seymour. The rotating part of this cell is north of Seymour, right near Jonesville, and pushing east of there. So let's slide this just to the west. And there will be a couple of the areas that will be eventually in the path of this. So Westport and North Vernon, that would take it out of the warned area. But again, if this one is still rotating, that rotation is near and east of Jonesville, for now just north of Seymour. A very busy night for us in terms of tracking severe weather. And this is how the full radar picture looks. Not severe if you're in Hendricks County. I know you're getting some storms now. You're not severe Madison County. I know you're getting some heavy rain and storms as well. There are flash flood warnings from Terre Haute to just northwest of Bloomington. And we are keeping an eye on a couple of tornado warned storms to the south along Interstate 65. So we'll put our shear detector on here, and that's going to show still in those two areas, still the potential there of some rotation just north of Seymour.
Yeah, and a couple of things, Angela, where you're talking about, moving right along Interstate 65, I have a couple of traffic cameras that I can show you. Let me show you the first one. This is going to be just north of State Road 11, right along Interstate 65. I know there's a bit of apparatus there from the traffic camera that's swinging in the breeze a little bit. It is obstructing the view, but it's also giving me an idea that, hey, there's a bit of gusty wind that's been picking up. And you can also see that a lot of the vehicles, as they're traveling down Interstate 65, have their emergency flashers on. The rain continues to be very heavy. Let me show you an additional traffic camera. This one is going to be at State Road 11, so this is a little further to the south. Notice they don't have as much rain at this location because they are just a little bit further to the south, but that could also be a little closer to maybe where that circulation is going to get closer. One of the things I wanted to mention here, and we do have the tornado warning that shows up there. Notice at the top right of your screen it says radar indicated, and that means that the radar is what is giving us the determination, and that may be a little bit different. So I wanted to walk you through a couple of things here while we're still watching that circulation very briefly. That is basically radar identified only. It's the base tornado warning. It's what the National Weather Service has been warning for ages, in addition to if someone reports, if a spotter reports in. But typically, when it's outlined in red like that, that's the radar indicated. Radar confirmed, that's what we saw when Sean was talking about the debris ball. We knew that it was showing up on radar because the radar had detected it with debris. We had confirmed through the radar that this was definitely producing a tornado. The slightly upgraded impact from that, and we had a couple of these, are the observed tornado warning. When it turns this kind of pinkish shade on our radar, that means we've got visual confirmation of it. Someone, a physical person, has gotten eyes on it, and that's what we had earlier with the storm damage that we're starting to see. North Texas Ridge Road, I believe was the name, State Road 67, along Interstate 69, and now along Interstate 65. What we don't want to see, and thankfully we have not seen this yet, but I just want to bring it to your attention, a tornado emergency. If there is a large, dangerous tornado on the ground, the National Weather Service very rarely, and it has not happened today, will issue a tornado emergency. That means that there is a violent tornado that is on the ground with imminent threat to life. This typically happens when a large tornado is moving into a populated city or a town. Thankfully, we're not there. We've come up from this situation. We're now back to here with the current tornado warning that is showing up. A little bit of improvement there. It is minor, but it's an important distinction to make when you're talking about the different types of warnings that we're seeing right now on our radars. And thankfully, we're not seeing too much on our cameras at that location just yet. Angela?
That is some good news. Our rotation detector still picking up on that area of rotation south of Columbus near Jonesville, crossing Interstate 65. On this path, this will move into northeastern Jackson and northwestern Jennings County. So let me give you a closer view of this area. Fairly rural area, but it will cross, it is crossing 65. It will cross 31. Azalea is one town that pops up here. That's northeast of Jonesville and just to the northwest of North Vernon. So I widen out this just a little bit. This might give you a slightly better perspective just because fairly small towns in this area in between Jonesville and North Vernon. But if you are in the area between Jonesville and North Vernon, still hinting at rotation here, still the possibility of a tornado. As Rob mentioned, this is radar indicated rotation, a radar indicated tornado, and that warning will go until I believe it was 11:15. So we have another 8 minutes on that. They did go severe thunderstorm warning on the cell that is moving through Greensburg right now instead of tornado. A little bit of rotation here, but the National Weather Service has this area under a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30. Greensburg, Millhausen, that does include you for a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30. So that's what we have in terms of warnings right now. Waiting for some additional confirmation on some information from our Samantha Johnson. So we'll wait on passing that along to you. Don't want to pass anything on that's not confirmed. Let's see here. A few reports coming in from the Weather Service, train spotters, trees and shingle damage near downtown Gosport. That was from an earlier storm. Let's see. Public reporting some damage, trees resulting in power outages, Ellettsville, Bloomington, and the Woodview Hills area of Monroe County. Let's see here if I can
also
pass
starting
along.
to see the winds pick up on the 65 cameras very close to Jonesville.
Okay, maybe we can pull that full. Either one of the NDOT cameras are in the similar area. And boy, you can see the wind picking up and almost that sideways rain here. So this is Interstate 65 and State Road 11. We have a couple of different vantage points for you. This was a public or spotter and public damage and I think Rob mentioned this one across parts of Monroe County. Looks like we have several trees on vehicles, several homes with extensive siding and roof damage. County EMS is on the scene and attempting to clear a blocked road. So that came in from Monroe County as well. So we're going to continue to get information like that, and as much as we can pass along to you that we get confirmed. And again, our Samantha Johnson has done a fabulous job. She did confirm I-69 closed at mile marker 130 for some tree removal. So Interstate 69 being closed at mile marker 130 due to some trees down. So Samantha Johnson working that for us. Viewer email reporting in the Jonesville area some very strong winds and moving quickly, strong winds and heavy rain. So appreciate that, Fred, for taking the time, one of our viewers, to send that in. And that's kind of where we are at this point. We'll be waiting for all of the damage assessments, all of the damage reports, gathering that information. This isn't something that when the severe threat is over tonight that we're going to say, okay, we're going to be covering this for days because of what we saw on radar, confirmed tornadoes, and now we're unfortunately getting reports, lots of reports of some damage specifically across parts of Monroe County. This is how the rotation looks, the latest on the warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and then the one radar indicated tornado warning that is pushing east of Interstate 65, east of Jonesville right now. If it would hold together, may impact North Vernon. The National Weather Service has, for now, issued a severe thunderstorm warning for you, North Vernon. Severe thunderstorm warning until 11:45 for parts of Bartholomew, Decatur, Jackson, and Jennings counties. So that is a new severe thunderstorm warning for that tornado warned storm where there's still a little bit of wind there east of Jonesville. This is how radar looks. We'll give you a wide perspective and then toss it over to you, Rob. Still an active radar, although the severe threat for most of us will be winding down over the next hour or so.
One of the things I've been watching, Angela, as we continue to track some of the storms that are heading east, is looking back to the west. One of the cells that earlier had a tornado warning as it was crossing into Indiana, now still showing some very broad rotation. It's in an area where it's a good ways away from the radar in Indianapolis, but there's still some broad rotation here. And even if there's not rotation, there are some strong winds out ahead of this. The reason I'm mentioning that is because while it's moving through Greene County, eventually this is going to move through the southern part of Monroe County, Lake Monroe. Yet again, you may have another potentially strong storm headed your way, and then down maybe a little further south from there, right along Interstate 69. Just something I want us to keep our eye on, as we could still see some rotating thunderstorms potentially produce more tornado warnings, as it does have a history of producing tornado warnings when it was back to the west. Again, this is much farther west than the current tornado warning that we have in place, but getting upstream of this, just to let you know what's going on there.
Yeah, we definitely are not done with the threat. We expect that threat to start to wind down over the next few hours, but we are not giving the all clear. The tornado watch technically for most of us still goes until 1 a.m.
Might add too that the tornado parameters south of 70 would still support, if it can be get to the surface, it could still support a significant tornado.
And that was one thing right as we started to see our coverage ramp up that the National Weather Service had pointed out that the significant tornado parameter that was in place across the southwestern part of our area, south of 70, where those storms entered, are unfortunately where those storms produced tornadoes, and what may end up being a significant tornado, at least based on what we saw with radar earlier. So this is how radar looks at this point. We've been keeping an eye on all of the latest warnings. Now that we don't have any tornado warnings, we are going to take a very quick break. It's going to give us a little time to regroup. The newsroom has been monitoring stuff, so we're going to try to pass along as much information as we can. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with you.
13 News is sponsored by Ohio.
Meteorologist Angela Buckman, along with meteorologist Sean Ash and Rob Ellis. Our severe weather coverage continues, and you are watching 13 News at 11. We continue to gather information from tornado-producing thunderstorms across central Indiana. Our Samantha Johnson has been on it. Our friend Kyle from the desk has been on it. And we're going to try to pass along as much information that we can get confirmed to you over the next half hour, 45 minutes to an hour or so. And it looks like Sam might have something really quick for me to share with you. And let's see. Okay, so she has passed along several things. One was an entrapment. The other was I-69 being closed at mile marker 130 due to trees down. And now from Monroe County EMA, several homes damaged on Buskirk Road. That has just been confirmed from our Samantha Johnson and the Monroe County Emergency Management Director. Several homes damaged on Buskirk Road. So that is new information coming in from our Samantha Johnson. At times, 67 was closed in Morgan County for tree removal as well. That's going to be an issue for the rest of tonight, even perhaps through that Thursday morning drive, as we're going to be dealing with cleanup. Trees and power lines down. You may have to reroute as you get ready to head to work, or anything that you may have planned for early tomorrow morning. I do want to pass along one other part of information that she had from earlier today, and that was from that entrapment area. So I'm going to look for that, but just know that was confirmed, and that was in Monroe County as well. That was the collapse of a roof on a home on Texas Ridge Road. So a lot of the damage coming in from parts of Morgan and Monroe counties. We're going to get to Sean in just a second, because he is going to back up the radar and show you this tornado as it moved across parts of our area. This is how radar looks right now. We still have heavy rain across Marion County and the city of Indianapolis. These are flash flood warnings, and it looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll dive into that area just to the southwest of Cloverdale. And there are new warnings here. And as Sean pointed out in our quick little break, there are still the parameters in place to support tornado-producing thunderstorms. So we are not done with the severe threat. That is a new severe thunderstorm warning for Clay and Vigo until 11:30. Parts of this area also under flash flood warnings. That includes just to the south of Terre Haute and then over toward the Cataract area. We have rain in Bloomington at this hour, just below severe limits at this point. Raining in Martinsville and the rest of Morgan County. And then to the east is where we find the severe thunderstorm warnings. Eastern sections of Decatur County. That is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning for you, and that will go until 11:30. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Bartholomew, Decatur, Jackson, and Jennings due to this cell that is now east of Seymour and pushing through North Vernon right now. That is radar indicated severe thunderstorm warning. I'll give you one close-up view of that, and then we'll get over to Sean. This is the severe thunderstorm warned area, and that is going to include those of you in North Vernon. At times, this cell has a history of some rotation, and it is showing the brightening. That brightening could indicate the strengthening of this cell, perhaps that wind damage threat increasing a bit. So take shelter, North Vernon. You are under a severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado watch. That by far is the strongest storm that we see, and then the other severe thunderstorm warning for you just to the southeast of Terre Haute. So Sean, we're not done with the severe threat yet, and unfortunately we were tracking a storm on radar that produced what we call a debris ball, and you want to take folks back.
Yeah, I want to take them back here just to show you because, you know, I'm going through my memory here, and the last time I saw something like this in our viewing area, probably the Sullivan tornado that hit McCormick State Park, that was back in 2023. This was a very intense tornado on radar, and likely when we get daylight tomorrow, I'm afraid of what we're going to see here. So what you're looking at, and what we're looking for is something called the debris, a debris signature. And when we see that, and when forecasters see that, we know that it, number one, it does a couple of things here. It confirms the tornado. But then when we started to see this move through northern Marion County, and that's when it crossed I-69 right there, the debris ball or debris signature started to get bigger. Okay, and then what really caught my attention is this, and that is something called debris fallout. In order to get that debris fallout, it takes tremendous lift to go up, and then the upper level wind literally pushes the debris away from the tornado and causes to fall out. In this case, across parts of Morgan and Johnson counties. Okay, so we know this was a very strong tornado. I want to show you a different perspective. And Rob and I were talking to each other about this. You know, that black dot that you see there, I think that is as strong. Let me play it back here. Hang tight. Right. So this is a different tornado debris signature right there as it started, looks like it started to us just around Gosport, maybe just south of Gosport. And then that, you know, that puts a pit in your stomach when you see that black ball.
And Sean, one of the things, and I want you to talk about this, so don't take Sean off camera because I want him to stay on this. The two different products that we're looking at, Sean, this one is just reflectivity. So this is just things in the atmosphere that it's bouncing off of. The other product that you've been showing, that's things that are different sizes. Yeah, different sizes. So it just tells us that, you know, this is not raindrops. You know, when we see that black ball, again, that is a strong, we don't see them very often like that around here. When we do, we know that we're talking about a higher end tornado. Of course, you know, the crews will go out there and rate it in the coming days. But it just puts a pit in your stomach when you saw this image, and you know it's impacting folks' lives, and we can only hope for the best. There it is as it was entering northern Brown County. All right, and then within a few scans, disappeared. And are you able to show the campground areas that we were looking at, just for those that may be wanting to get in a little closer? Yeah, hang tight here. Let me put my glasses on, get a little closer, and remind me again, because I think some folks got a little upset with me. I think I was in the fog of covering, and I think I might have had the wrong location. We were talking about Brown County State Park, Yellowwood State Forest, but then there's also the Mason Ridge. We were really concerned about the Mason, I think it was called Mason Ridge. Yeah, do you know where that is in relation? So I can tell you, well, there, so again, so this particular product says, hey, this is not rain. This is different artifacts.
We don't know if it's a combination of trees, probably homes, because we know there's been some structures that have been injured. And there it is approaching.
Roughly in the 10:02 scan, it's directly over Mason Ridge camping area.
Okay.
Right at about 10:02, 10:03 scan.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, Rob. There you go. Yeah. So let me go back to the different product here. Now that we know 10:02.
It looks like it crossed the interstate right at about 9:55.
Yeah. So there you go. There it is, crossing 69 right there. And then, and there's the campground. Yep. Campground, hit the campground roughly, like you said, around 10:02.
And while I have you there, if you zoom in real close, I'm just going to try to find that North Texas Ridge Road.
Okay.
Because we were talking about that on the air, and I believe it's actually where the debris ball was a little earlier than that. So you're looking right at maybe 9:48. It crossed North Texas Ridge Road right as the debris signature started to show up.
Okay.
And I believe that is where we have the entrapment currently that they've been advertising.
Yeah, so no debris. So on, you go from, this roughly started just south of Gosport, very close to Gosport. And then there you go, crossing through, so we know there's going to be a long tornado track with this. Heck, we could probably put a distance tracker on this.
And Buskirk Road, where we also have some houses damaged, is at about the 3:56 mark, or excuse me, 9:56 mark time wise.
I mean, at minimum, this is probably going to be a 20-mile track, maybe longer.
It's like it went right down Burma Road, over to Buskirk Road, right at the intersection there. I mean, the debris signature was directly over it, and it corresponds with what we're hearing.
And then, as Samantha Johnson was saying, and I-69 in that area right now closed due to heavy tree cleanup. There's a long stretch where I-69 is closed from around Godsey Road all the way just north of Wayport. There's a long stretch run of I-69 that's closed here. So again, sickening radar imagery. Now I want to get you back to current time here. We've got some new thunderstorm warnings. Now I will tell you, we still are not completely done yet. This is heavy rain that's over Indy right now. But the southern cells are still in an environment that can produce a significant tornado. And I always say it only takes one tornado to flip people's lives, no pun intended, upside down. And that's unfortunately what we have seen here this evening. I hope we don't have any more, but I don't think we can completely say we are done with additional warnings, and we still have them. Let me clean up the radar a little bit, show you the warnings that we do have. That includes Westport, north of Seymour as well. North Vernon, that's a severe thunderstorm warning. And then we've got the same area is under a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, at least currently, I'm not seeing any rotation that's catching my attention, but certainly the potential is going to be there for 60-plus mile-per-hour wind.
Unfortunately, where the debris ball went through the severe thunderstorm warning, a new severe thunderstorm warning is going to go right over that area.
It's going to go right over that area. So this is what Rob's talking about. Now, it is a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag. I said the rotation is not tight. However, it is still in an environment that is supportive of not only tornadoes, but perhaps a significant tornado. I know this is not what we want to see, but And then where we're going to watch very closely on this is right here. This rotation. So Patricksburg, Clay City. Going to have to watch that very closely. And as Rob mentioned, that is going to go. Most of these have been moving almost due east. So this is going to be heading right over toward I-69. Yeah.
I hate to say there's a minor rotation showing up even ahead of that, just west of Martinsville, and that little hook. You can see it in the reflectivity as more of a hook signature,
Yeah,
but you can see a minor
Yeah,
rotation.
I see it. Yeah, and look, a lot of these.
Paragon.
A lot of these have hooks, or hook. You know, they're kind of a hook shape. They may not be the world's tightest hook, but that just shows you that the atmosphere still has tremendous amounts of wind shear. And we kept trying to reiterate that. Ange, I'll get it over to you, yeah?
Yes, I will take it because we don't have any current tornado warnings. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you off of 13. Our coverage will continue on the WTHR streaming app. Don't go anywhere. If we would get additional tornado warnings, we will be back on 13. Otherwise, our coverage will continue on our WTHR streaming app.
17th century philosopher.
And we're nearing midnight on a Wednesday night into an early Thursday morning. I'm meteorologist Angela Buckman along with meteorologist Sean Ash and Rob Ellis. Our severe weather coverage continues. We're back with you on 13 due to new tornado warning. This is going to be for areas south of Bloomington, north of Bedford, but headed into Seymour, south of Columbus. We've got another rotating thunderstorm with the potential of it producing a tornado. So I want to show you where the storm is, get you the specifics on the tornado warned storm. This is a tornado warning for parts of Bartholomew, Brown, Jackson, Lawrence, Monroe counties until 12:15. The circulation is now east of Lake Monroe, moving east toward Bexgrove, Pershing, Zelma, and then east of there, if it would hold together, Jonesville and Seymour. If you were with our coverage at all, this area has already dealt with severe weather, including that tornado threat. But we do want to show you an enhanced circulation that has developed east of Lake Monroe. New tornado warning until 12:15 for parts of Bartholomew, Brown, Jackson, Lawrence, and Monroe counties. I'm going to clear that, and we'll do a deep dive on this storm. So there is the cell. I'm going to take this off just briefly, put our shear product on. It is picking up on in the intensification of that near 446. Here's Lake Monroe. It is east of Lake Monroe, pushing east of Guthrie. Actually, I'm going to put the warning back on. I need to see the movement so I can give you a proper track on this. Moving east at 55. So it's going to move east at 55. Our product as well, showing that rotation intensifying near 446. Let's come out and we'll do a track on this east at 55. We'll do the leading edge of this. So again, not impacting Lake Monroe, that it's east of Lake Monroe. As it moves east at 55, it's going to be in Norman in a few minutes. Elkinsville, you will be in the path around midnight, along with Houston and Pershing between midnight and 12:05, 12:10. Mount Healthy at 12:15, Cortland at 12:18. There's a medical center that would be in the path at 12:22, and Seymour at 12:22. So this rotating thunderstorm will continue to move east. It is a new tornado warning until 12:15. Intensification of what we saw with radar on the velocities, this area here, just northeast of Pleasant Run, and backed up with our rotation detector as well. So that is one thing, Rob, that we're keeping a very close eye on. And we also saw a little bit of circulation near Nashville, not as impressive as the one that's east of Lake Monroe right now.
Yeah, and one of the things we've been tracking all throughout the evening, and you may have seen this, but I think it bears repeating, is that as the National Weather Service advances the science of meteorology, they also evolve into putting a little bit of different tagging on some of the tornado warnings. Notice this tornado warning here, it's kind of highlighted because that's the one I'm talking about here that is radar indicated. And some of these tags are important to know exactly what type of tornado warning we're dealing with. Not all are exactly the same, and we want to educate you on exactly what that means. The current one that we're talking about is just radar indicated. Now, that is kind of the base level for tornado warnings, radar identified only. The next step up, and we did see one of these tonight, would be radar confirmed. That's typically when we see that debris signature. Doesn't happen very often, but when we do see a debris signature, we can confirm it by radar. But if someone physically has their eyes on it, or if there's a sheriff that saw it on the ground, then we would say it goes observed. And if you see our tornado boxes, instead of being that red color, that they turn to this kind of pinkish purple shade, that means someone has physically seen the tornado, and that's a visual confirmation. The next step up, we hope we don't see this, we haven't seen this tonight, would be a tornado emergency. If we do know that it is a large tornado that is on the ground, that is headed towards a highly populated area, it's an imminent threat to life. Let's hope we don't get there. Again, right now with this tornado warning, we're sitting right here. We had a couple of instances in this area earlier tonight, and we're still assessing the damage of what potentially went through the northern part of Monroe County and Brown County. Now they're under another tornado warning, Angela, in the southern part of those two counties.
Yes, so I'm going to come out just again. We don't want you to get lost on the radar. Here's Interstate 65. There's Interstate 69 in Bloomington. So we are southeast of there. Far southeastern section part of Monroe County. Far northeastern section of Lawrence. This will go across parts of Jackson, southern Brown, southern Bartholomew as well. This will continue to move east. I'm going to pass it over to you, Rob or Sean.
Yeah, I got it. I got a track on it here, and I tell you, I don't like the looks of this thing because it's the first of all, it's the southernmost storm, so there's nothing really to impede the inflow into it. It's developing quite a hook. I've got you timed out at 55 miles per hour. So if you have family and friends in Seymour, hopefully they're awake.
Check out CC, Sean.
Give them a call, please. We just got a new scan in. And yeah, I see what you're saying there.
It's early, but it's a little concerning.
Let me look at the, yeah, I don't like how this thing tightened up so quick here. And then, I mean, that is a significant hook. And I just really hope we don't see another debris signature.
Yeah.
Like we had earlier. So this thing's going to be going due east. Pershing, you're right in the path, direct path of this. It's going to cross over 258. Let me show you that tight rotation once again. And let me give me a moment here. I want to get some frames of reference on this. But again, tornado warning. This is radar indicated for the time being. Radar indicated rotation for the time being here. But moving directly toward Seymour at 55 miles per hour. So we've got some open territory in its path. We've got some forest in its path there as well. Let me show you the shear. But man, that thing is really, really ramped up in a hurry, and this was the fear here. All right, so Lake Monroe, with this storm, you're fine. It's moving away from you, but you can see.
CC calmed down in the latest scan.
Right into Pershing there.
It's looking better. Still a tight circulation on velocity, but
very, very tight. What just popped up? Something popped up there. Okay, yeah, it's going over a horse camp, and then County Road 1250 west here. So again, if you're just hopping on, we told you we're not gonna be done with this until the severe threat is over. Tornado warning continues, radar indicated, parts of Bartholomew, Brown, Jackson, Lawrence, Monroe, although the Monroe portion is almost done. This will go technically until 12:15. So we're gonna have to watch this. We'll keep an eye on the debris tracker there. We're not seeing anything on that right now.
Current trajectory should keep it south of Brown and Bartholomew County, but it's going to be pretty close to the line.
Yeah, I agree with you, partner. I think this is a Jackson County, storm. So, no, again, I will tell you this. I know some folks still may be up. Let's do this here. Let's just draw a line. I think we can just about give the all clear north of that. I would say we can give the all clear north of this. I don't want to completely rule that thing out in Johnson County just yet. And obviously these southern storms are still the big story right now with that tightening rotation. We don't like these overnight tornadoes, and this shows you just how quickly these things can go from a broad rotation to a tight rotation, and that is definitely tightening up there as it moves through northern Jackson County.
Yes, so if you are in Pershing, if you're in Jonesville, if you're in Seymour, we need you to be in the safest part of your home. Sean said it. We don't like storms that produce tornadoes ever, but they're more dangerous at night. Folks perhaps have gone to sleep. That's why we always encourage you to, when we're dealing with a threat like this, to have the cell phone on, have the ringer on, have a way to be woken up in the case of severe weather. A case like this, Pershing, you need to be in the lowest level away from windows and doors. Jonesville, as well as Seymour, as we have an intensifying storm, rotating thunderstorm that is basically over Pershing right now and headed east toward Jonesville and Seymour. So you can see Becks Grove here. The rotation is just south of there, headed more toward the Pershing area, and that's where the tornado warning is in effect until 12:15. Jonesville, Seymour will be in the path as well. We have another tornado warning, but that's off to our east. In terms of other warnings, that's it. But Sean pointed out that we're not done with the severe threat yet, and we have to keep an eye on these southern storms, including the southern storms that continue to come out of parts of Illinois, impacting Sullivan and Greene counties. No warnings on those. What you see from Terre Haute into Clay and parts of Owen counties, those are flash flood warnings. But we do have tornado warning in effect for parts of northern Jackson, southern Brown, southern Bartholomew, and really we think this is impacting for the most part the northern sections of Jackson County. There it is in relation to Interstate 65. There is the rotation near Pershing right now, south of Spurgeon's Corner, and moving east toward those of you in Seymour. Seymour, low level, away from windows and doors. We need you in the safe spot.
Yeah, Angela, I want to talk a couple of things that we use to look at meteorologically to determine what exactly we're looking at. Obviously, we have the tornado warning, but there's several different things that we're all looking at one time, and I want to walk you through a few of those. First of all, there's the velocities that we constantly talk about. What we look for is that couplet, and some of these brighter spots indicate where the winds are traveling towards the radar, and you can see up in this kind of blue shade, that's all toward the radar. The radar is located in Indianapolis, so that implies winds moving this way, and then where you see the bright red spot, that implies winds moving this way. That means a circulation is located right there, at least we think it is. The tighter that circulation is, the more confident that we feel that there's a tornado of concern or something, some rotation that may be reaching the ground. We also have been using this correlation coefficient. Now, thankfully, this is not showing something that we are concerned about, but this basically we've been using all night to talk about debris. It basically measures whether things are the same size, like raindrops, which are all typically the same size, or whether things are very different sizes, like 2x4s and tree limbs and debris and things of that nature. So this is a product that we use to determine how alike things are in the atmosphere. Getting in a little bit closer, I did put a couple of tracks on this to kind of query some of the pixels. It's now moved ahead of that, but some of these pixels were showing as high as 59 to 65 miles per hour with that blue shaded area moving toward the radar. So it is giving us an indication. But the other thing that we are also looking at, we've been looking at this quite a bit, is just the standard radar. Sean has been talking a lot about this. I know it sounds a little, you hear about this, you've heard about it forever, of the hook signature. Look for a hook signature, look for a hook signature. Because the radar in this standard, good old-fashioned, how hard does it rain in radar, does tend to have that circulation, that little bit of a hook signature in many of the tornadic cells that we've been watching. We also just watched this because could we see more? And I'd like to point this out as well. Over into Ohio, just north of Cincinnati, farther north than any of the other tornado warnings that we have right now, is a tornado warn cell. So as Sean has been talking about some of these areas, maybe into Johnson County, there is a little bit of a hook signature there on that one, but that's not the whole story. We also have to look at all of the other products and take those together. So there's still a good bit of spin even north of these, but things are starting to improve from north to south. The main focus, of course, is to the south, but we're going to keep an eye on it. Sean, what do you have?
We may have a debris signature. Yeah, go to 2. Yeah, we may have that right there. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Just east of Kurtz.
Yep, east of Kurtz, and that is right in the strong velocity. So now again, what is it hitting? We don't know, but to me that looks like a radar confirmation of a tornado that's moving east. So very near Freetown, by the way. Boy, Mount Healthy. We mentioned Mount Healthy earlier.
Yes, sir, we did.
They are in
earlier,
the polygon, and pretty close to the polygon here.
Boy, it's tightened way up.
Yep, Spraytown. So it's going to be interesting. When we get a new frame in here. But if you were in Spraytown, Seymour, Bobtown, Waymansville, Acme, Cortland, get in your location, get in your lowest level right now. That circle right there could be a radar confirmed tornado. I'll feel, if we see it in the next scan, Rob, I think I'll feel a little more confident that is exactly what it is, but it is moving right across 135. Either way, we know this thing is definitely rotating strongly right now. So let's do a track on this at 55 miles per hour. You still have some time.
New scan is in, and that looks even more impressive.
Okay. All right. So we're maybe staring down another. Here you go. Bobtown, less than about 15 minutes or less. If you know some people down there, please give them a call. You said the new scan's in. Yeah. I mean, look at that. So this is likely going to be our second radar confirmed tornado of the evening. That is I feel confident. That's a radar confirmation.
I'm with you.
You with me?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm also communicating that to the Weather Service. They're looking at it right now.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. If you got family and friends, hopefully they're taking their phones have gone off, their weather radio's gone off. Jonesville, we've got you again. We got you in a polygon again there, and Seymour as well. So crossing, it's going to go over that intersection. So that's going to be Freetown. This thing's going to go right over Freetown or just north, very close. Now, what is that debris? Is that all trees?
They just went tornado debris signature.
Yep. There you go. So now this is observed tornado warning, and Rob was just talking about this. So here you go. Let me show you. There you go. That's the tornado warning observed from the radar. So we saw that, and there you go.
New scan just came across as well.
New scans in. Very strong velocity signature on this.
Yep.
Let's hope that it weakens. It can, but until it does, safest locations. And again, let's show you the debris signature there. Yep, still. It's picked up, it's likely based on the way it is tracked, so it has probably picked up a lot of trees west of Freetown. It's crossed over Pike Road, and it probably was really close to the. Let me take this back here. Take this signature back. That thing probably was. Man, that was south of So this is an impressive signature. let's hope this thing weakens before it goes any farther to the east there, Angela.
Yes, because farther to the east, we have a few more populated areas, including Acme, Cortland, Spraytown, Bobtown, Seymour, and Jonesville. So this looks to move right along 258. There's Spraytown, there's that signature that Sean was pointing out. There's Acme, there's Cortland, there's Bobtown, Jonesville, and Seymour, not too far away from basically 11. That will take you through Jonesville and Seymour, and that debris signature that Sean was pointing out is approaching Spraytown and Acme right now along 58 and 258. We need you in the safest part of your home. This is now radar confirmed from the National Weather Service, seeing what we're seeing as far as that debris signature is concerned. And with the velocities, we started to see that increase in the brightness, that tightening of the rotation. And that is south of Becks Grove, south of Nashville, southwest of Columbus, just to give you some perspective. And then there's Interstate 65 as you come south of Columbus through Jonesville and Seymour as well. So tornado warning confirmed, tornado warning at this point, that radar confirmed from what we've seen, that we have seen on radar, and that we continue to keep an eye on. And it's going to be that area right there. Debris signature still evident on radar at this hour. That is, I'm going to bring this out just a little bit to the wide view. That is the one storm that we continue to watch going severe. Luckily for us, nothing west. The one storm south of Effingham looks to make a move more toward the Vincennes area at this point, but that is a severe thunderstorm warned cell. And then we've got a couple of tornado warnings off to our east. Our confirmed, radar confirmed tornado warning is in effect until 12:15. That may need to be extended from the National Weather Service. Let me see if they have put any.
So I went back and looked at where the debris signature started in between Houston and Kurtz. Which means it probably hit something just to the west of there. You know, there's a lot of forest down there. There's a couple of horse camps, Hickory Ridge Horse Camp, the Hoosier Horse Camp. I hope those were missed.
Tornado on the ground from the emergency manager, 375 West State Road 58.
Okay.
Report from a firefighter.
All right. So now not only we have radar confirmation, now we're getting spotter confirmation here. This thing is on the ground, continued. Radar would certainly suggest that's the case. So there's Spraytown, Angela, and we've been trying to give them as much heads up as possible.
It's right near that bend on 58.
Yep.
Yeah, right as it takes that bend from 258.
Yep, you're right. Right there. So we don't know when this thing's going to lift off the ground. We know that it still has a debris signature with it, and that's what you're seeing there. So what, again, if you're not, we try to help you. Basically, what that donut hole is showing us is, hey, that's not rain. That's either trees or we hope it's not someone's home. But it's definitely not rain, and that sticks out like a sore thumb, tells us, yes, this is a confirmed, radar confirmed tornado.
And the National Weather Service has issued a new confirmed tornado warning in advance of this storm. That's going to include Acme, Seymour, Jonesville, and North Vernon. A new warning from the National Weather Service confirmed because of what we're seeing on radar, and now eyes on it from a firefighter along 58. Confirmed tornado warning until 1 a.m. Bartholomew, Decatur, Jackson, Jennings counties. This is an observed and at times confirmed with radar tornado warning, and we want you to be in the safest part of your home. Take shelter, as we had a similar storm move across parts of Monroe and Morgan counties. It did do damage, so we can't encourage you enough to get into the safe part of your home.
Is there a debris signature also showing up in the reflectivity? It's not as strong as the one we saw in northern Monroe, but it appears to be a brightening of the...
Yeah, I see that. And I think yeah, I do see it.
I would only say that with it coupled with the correlation coefficient.
Yep, you're right.
So near Acme.
Just north of it, yep.
Just north of Acme. Yep.
I'm going to move cameras ahead of that.
So there's how
that's-
it looks on velocities, and we showed you the debris signature north of Acme. And then the other one we were looking at is, are we going to start to see this, what we call a debris ball form, and be able to see that with the reflectivity on its own. If you were with our earlier coverage, we had that. The radar turned black because of the debris it was picking up, not because of hail, but because of the debris that it was picking up. So that's one thing that we're going to watch. In advance of Acme, this storm has the potential to impact Bobtown and Cortland next. Jonesville, Redding, Seymour will be after that. You don't have time to be thinking about getting into your safe place. We want you to do that now. If you live anywhere from Jonesville to Seymour to North Vernon and Brewersville, confirmed tornado warning. This was confirmed with radar and now observed from a spotter, a firefighter in the area along 58. That was on the ground, 375 West and State Road 58, that report from a firefighter. So observed and radar confirmed on a tornado warned storm that is now east of Acme, that is riding just north of 258. So here's 258 in Cortland. Cortland, Bobtown, safe place now. The storm is overhead. Who will be next? Jonesville, Redding, and Seymour. And then after that, it will be North Vernon. New observed / confirmed tornado warning until 1 a.m. for this area. We need you to be in the safest part of your home, the lowest level away from windows and doors as this storm continues to push off to the east. Let's do a track on this, and I will track I'm going to track kind of the leading edge of the rotation. That will give us an early heads up as this storm moves off to the east between 40 and 50 miles per hour or so. Cortland Elementary School, Bobtown, Rockford, Redding, Fleming, Scipio Elementary School, Queensville, North Vernon, and Brewersville. North Vernon and Brewersville, for you, it is about 25 minutes away. You've got a little bit of time, but I wouldn't wait. Go ahead and if you have to step away from the TV, hopefully you've got social media, you've got something that you can monitor these warnings on your phone. Take the phone with you, get into the safe part of your home. Scipio Elementary, that at 12:34. Bobtown here in the next couple of minutes, along with Rockford, Redding, and Fleming. Cortland Elementary School, it seems to be pretty close to you, that school at this point, as the rotation continues to move off to the east.
It's got a ways to go, but the traffic cameras are directly in the line for both 1 and 2.
Oh, perfect. Along Interstate 65?
Correct.
Okay.
Right
So
at State Road 11.
we will definitely keep an eye on those. We've been keeping an eye on our debris detector. That is still looking fairly intense at this point. There is 11. There's Jonesville and Seymour, and there's the potential debris with this tornado as it moves east. At between 40 and 50 miles per hour, it is headed toward Jonesville and Seymour next. Please be in the safest part of your home. That's going to be the lowest level away from windows and doors. At this point, that is our only warned storm. Unfortunately, it is observed, confirmed tornado warning for you in Jonesville, Seymour, and North Vernon between now and 1 a.m. as we expect this storm to continue to move off to the east. Let's give you a vantage point of the overall view as the severe threat continues. We're going to be concerned really with any cell on the southern part that has a little more of that atmosphere to work with. Significant tornado parameters were in place across the southern half of the state, and we definitely had some storms tap into that did damage in Morgan, Monroe counties, and we may end up with some damage in Owen County as well, as these storms that initiated across parts of Illinois weakened a bit and then strengthened as it moved into that significant tornado parameter that we had in place. So the National Weather Service has been keeping an eye on that, and we continue to keep an eye on radar. Still have some heavy rain falling across across Marion County. That is not severe. The one warning is that observed/confirmed tornado warning that is approaching Jonesville and Seymour right now. How it looks on the velocities. We still have that red and green close together. The cameras, I'm kind of taking a peek out of the corner of my eye, don't look all that impressive yet at this point, but we'll keep an eye on those cameras as well. And our debris detector still picking up on that. That is approaching 11 right now in between Jonesville and Seymour. If you haven't already, you need to be lowest level away from windows and doors. This is a confirmed/observed tornado, confirmed by radar with this debris signature and observed by a firefighter a little farther west. That was near the Acme area and 58. It's running just north of 258 and the approaching 11 right now in between Jonesville and Seymour, if this one is still producing.
It's really weakened quite a bit.
Okay.
The signature certainly looks nothing near what it was.
I tell you, another area that I would want to watch closely is near Flat Rock. It's not crazy strong right now.
Southern Shelby.
Yep, Southern Shelby. Okay. And the reason I say this is that this is how a lot of these have started out this evening. Kind of broad rotation. Is it going to turn into something? We don't know yet, but we do know that we still have a very highly sheared atmosphere south of I-70. Now we're getting that crazy rain over us right now here around the metro area. Our severe threat here is over. Flooding's the story. But for you folks south, it's still a loud night, and we still are going to have to watch these southern storms. Okay, until this axis can get completely out of our viewing area, we're going to have to watch them because we're seeing what's going on. Even with this cell started out rather, it wasn't that great of a storm initially, and then you can see how this thing. Well, let's see it back. And Rob, remember we were looking at this thing
way back in Greene County.
Way back in Greene County. Look at that. That's in Greene County. And then watch as it goes through that Monroe and Lawrence County line, and then the thing tightened up fast.
And when it was in western Monroe, it looks a lot like what's in southern Shelby right now. You're right.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, so until we can get this whole axis out of our counties, I just don't feel. We're not going to leave you.
No.
And this is why. And this is
Lindsay's
why.
on her way in.
Yeah, and this is why we stay here to keep you updated. Now, I think what we're seeing, the radar still is seeing that debris. It just may be lofted right now. You know what I mean? I think it may not necessarily still be in progress. It'll be interesting if, from a velocity standpoint, what Rob was saying, it doesn't look. There's the new scan. It definitely is not as strong as it was. Right there, that was a dead giveaway. And then there you go.
Okay, so that's a piece of good news.
Yeah.
As it weakens, as it moves toward Jonesville and Seymour.
And those cameras are getting pretty close to, if you want to take those full just to see what you're seeing, see some of the heavy rain.
Sure, feel free to we can take 1 and 2. So this is 65 near State Road 11. So this is in that tornado warned, observed tornado warned area. You can see the heavy rain that is falling, some gusty winds in the area. Not seeing much in the way of lightning or any flashes. And this is, there we go, a little bit of lightning from this vantage point. Looks like we've got some semis that have been pulled over there on the on and off ramps, whether they're riding out the weather or waiting for a little bit of daylight, waiting for the weather perhaps
They might be
to clear.
taking a nap. Some of them do, I think.
Some of them do. I don't know that we're necessarily supposed to park on and off ramps. It can be a little dangerous. But if rest areas are full and that's the only option and they have to get some rest, that's what they're doing. And they could be riding out the severe weather as well. Just know that from this vantage point, not seeing any flashes that would lead us to believe that we've got ongoing damage in this area or ongoing tornado producing damage. Sometimes we would see flashes, whether that would be power lines snapping or those power surges, things like that. But definitely some wind. You can see that from the camera here. We're at Interstate 65 and State Road 11. This is going to be near Jonesville and Seymour as the rotating part of this thunderstorm moves off to the east. So that's the latest vantage point from a couple of cameras south. Here's how the cell looks. Much weaker, so that's some good news. The rotation not nearly as tight. It's broadened out a little bit. There's where we were, 65 and 11 in between Jonesville and Seymour, showing you a couple of those cameras. Latest update, again, much more disorganized, so some good news here on this tornado-warned storm. Still keep an eye on it. Still stay in your shelter. Let this storm pass you by. If you live in North Vernon, the storm itself has weakened just a little bit, so we've got a little piece of good news. Let's go up to that other storm that you were keeping an eye on.
And the National Weather Service has some info on that as well. They're going to issue a special weather statement on that for stronger winds, but they're definitely watching it. They say the lightning has increased with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the area's southern part of Shelby County. So southern part of Shelby County, that is along 74. I'll give you a little closer view of that. And 9. So 74 is here. There's 9. There is 44. And there's some disorganized rotation here south of Shelbyville near Smithland. And this is moving off to the east towards St. Paul, toward Moscow, and will continue to move from Shelby into Rush counties as it moves to the north and east. So National Weather Service keeping an eye on that one as well. A little bit of good news here with this storm. It has lost its significant, the tight rotation it has lost. So that is some good news. Boy, we still have heavy rain over downtown Indianapolis. Another wave at this point. And this kind of resets the stage for us. Flash flood warnings for those of you around Terre Haute into Clay and Owen counties. We've got cleanup underway, unfortunately, in Morgan and Monroe counties. Owen as well, at a minimum, may end up with some cleanup across parts of Johnson County as well. Just know that the National Weather Service is going to be out in the coming days to survey all of the damage, and just fingers crossed that everyone had the heads up on these cells. Yeah.
I just was noticing, it's out of our area, but I want to mention it. The other confirmed tornado warning that we have nearby is on the southwest side of Cincinnati, where it too appears like they may have a debris signature showing up just on the southwest side of Cincinnati. It shows up in the correlation coefficient. It's a pretty strong rotational signature. It's not in the best radar location, but it's they're dealing with it as well.
Okay. For us, a little bit of good news with that storm. It's weakened a little bit. Technically, the warning goes until 1 a.m., so we've got another half hour on that warning for you, which is the reason you've got continuing coverage here on Channel 13 into the overnight hours of a Wednesday into a Thursday morning because of severe weather. We've got dozens of reports coming into the newsroom. We're going to be sending our sunrise crews. That's what the newsroom is going to be working on now, getting our crews ready to get out to safely let you know what has happened in our area. And unfortunately, it's going to come with damage and a fair amount from perhaps a couple of strong tornadoes that impacted areas south of Indianapolis, from near Bloomington to portions of Morgan County into parts of Johnson County as well. So stick with us. Our coverage is going to continue. We still have the tornado warned storm. We've got flash flood warnings in effect for Terre Haute, northern parts of Clay and northwestern Owen counties as well. And we still have some heavy rain falling in downtown Indianapolis, east to Knightstown, east to Richmond. Keeping an eye on a stronger cell right along I-74, showing a little bit of broad rotation that will move from near Shelbyville over toward Rushville, and then that confirmed / observed tornado warning that still is in effect until 1 a.m. for areas south of Columbus. I will show you that cell, and We'll put the velocities back on. Not nearly as strong, which is some good news as that broad rotation pushes east of Interstate 65. It is staying just north of Highway 50. North Vernon, you're going to be pretty close. May end up with some strong to damaging wind potential. Piece of good news for you, North Vernon, that storm has weakened significantly, and we're not seeing much in the way of signatures that would indicate that that is still producing a tornado. But we did get a report of that from a firefighter in the area along 58 as this storm developed near the Acme area, really started to get going. We've been tracking it since it was near Guthrie and Marshall. They were tracking it as it developed in Greene County and really started to strengthen as it moved off to the east. So you're still under the tornado warning. Jonesville, Seymour, North Vernon, Brewersville. I would say if this one is rotating, that rotation is now east of 65. So starting to get in the clear, Jonesville and Seymour as the rotating part of that storm heads towards Brewersville and North Vernon, right along and just north of Highway 50 as we move into parts of out of Jackson into Jennings County over the next few minutes or so. Technically, the tornado warning goes until 1 a.m., so our coverage will continue until we can give you that all clear. Unfortunately, cleanup is happening in the dark, and you always hate that as we've got crews, whether they be removing trees, trying to restore power, dealing with darkness, dealing with more rain, and still dealing with that threat of severe weather for some locations. And that's how radar looks. A strong storm, potentially severe with rotation and possible tornado moving toward Brewersville and North Vernon right now. We have additional storms, not severe at this point, but a couple of stronger cells coming out of Shelby County, headed in between Rushville and Greensburg right now. That was an area of broad rotation, and we can still see it there south of Shelbyville, crossing Interstate 74. This is just west of 74, in between Morristown and 74. Broad rotation, nothing very strong, but National Weather Service, along with us, we have the eyes on it just in case this would start to tighten up. It was a busy evening as expected. We ended up with 2 waves of thunderstorms today. The first wave impacted us earlier today and was not severe. And then we started to turn our attention to parts of central Illinois that had numerous tornado warnings confirmed, observed tornado warnings, and those are the cells that eventually impacted parts of central Indiana and continue to do so, especially in areas south of I-70. Our coverage continues. We are at 12:30 on a Thursday morning, continuing to monitor the threat of severe weather for basically the southern half of the state for now. We expect the National Weather Service to let that watch go at 1 o'clock. They have changed the observed tornado warning to radar indicated. Not surprising that there's that change, just because this one has lost its what we saw on radar and what the National Weather Service saw on radar. It has lost that rotation. So back to a tornado warning for those of you in North Vernon and Brewersville because of the storm that is now east of Seymour. Definitely lost its the significant rotation with this one, Sean.
Yeah. As I was just kind of looking back, because I know a lot of people, were like, hey, where's this severe weather that you talked about, and I just want to show this map. Shows you what the difference 30 to 35 miles can make. And really, if you've been following the forecast the last couple of days, initially, the feeling was the highest tornado threat might be north Lafayette to Kokomo, and then gradually over the past 24 hours had shifted to the south. Wish we could have told you exactly where all these tornadoes were going to happen. We couldn't. Meteorology is not that good. Science is not that good. That is the confirmed significant tornado from earlier. In relation to the I-70 corridor through Indianapolis. But yes, as you were saying, and we get up to speed on what's going on right now, and I tell you, there's still, and I was talking to Rob about this, these on the southern edge of all of these storms in southern Indiana, the environment is still very, very supportive of spin potential here. And so that tornado watch is going to continue over the southeastern corner of the state. Now, the farther north you go, the odds are significantly lower. But we still have, we still have to watch every single storm on radar here until they get out of our viewing area, just because we tried to stress how strong the wind field was, extreme wind shear. And thank goodness we didn't have any more instability than we already had, Angela. Because, I mean, you saw what happened in the couple of cells that we've had here.
Right.
You got at minimum 2. Yeah, buddy.
I just noticed that the Shelby County storm is starting to maybe show a little bit of interest when it comes to rotation, and I also moved one of the cameras, traffic cameras there.
A little bit closer. Which
just a little bit
one?
Closer. We are looking at.
Is it NDOT 1 or 2?
It'll be NDOT 1.
Okay, I'm gonna punch it up here.
I'm gonna try. It's the closest one I can see right now.
Yeah.
It's not great looking at the moment, but
Okay.
it's just north of that area. But there's starting to be a little bit of rotation there in that southeastern part of Shelby. We've been watching it, but it seems to have maybe just changed just a hair.
Okay. All right. Well, again, that's why we're here. We're gonna stay on top of all of this. Right as of right now, let me show you the tornado warning that we have. Radar indicated technically until 1 a.m. We'll see how long that's going to last here, and what's been a very busy night, and still very stormy, and an atmosphere that we can't just say, hey, we got some storms, we're in the clear here. We're not. All right. I want to show you but what's been very interesting, and there you go. Look at that one down by Cincinnati there, Rob, at the observed tornado. I want to put on the 6-hour, and I always sometimes, I say it only takes one storm. In this case, we've had 2 that have definitely produced tornadoes. For a little bit, it did look like initially the roughest might be in Illinois, but we always knew we had this amazing wind field for these storms to play with. But for a lot of areas north of that axis, yeah, it was more of a heavy rain, gusty storm deal. But yeah, this is what we have right now. This Seymour, you're done with this storm. I'm not saying you're done with storms at all rest of the night. And Jonesville, the worst of this. This is moving a little bit more east there, Angela, heading into southeastern Indiana.
Yeah, and we'll check that storm that Rob has his eyes on, southern parts of Shelby County. Rotation has increased a bit, a little more organized, not quite tight enough yet that the National Weather Service has issued anything on it, but their eyes are on it as well. So this is near and south of St. Paul, basically in between Shelbyville and Greensburg, along and crossing Interstate 74. So that will move east across southern Rush, northern Decatur counties as it exits the southern part of Shelby County. Sean mentioned the fact that meteorology, the science is not that good that we can't say 5, 6, 7 hours ahead of time that this is where the tornadoes are going to be. But what's good, National Weather Service, spotters, emergency managers, everyone did their part in getting out the information late yesterday, tonight into early this morning, and that's the most important part. We want to get the information out to keep people safe, and even if in your hometown, you didn't end up with tornadoes, but you were under the tornado watch. Maybe you had a few things canceled for safety reasons. We wanted,
excuse me.
We didn't want people out on the roads, to be honest with you, in a setup that was that we knew had the potential of producing destructive storms, violent tornadoes, and that's really the reason for the tornado watch. And it really was that watch that then changed the way the evening progressed, probably for some of you, even though you didn't end up with any severe weather.
Looks like they.
And I always say, be thankful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it looks like they canceled that tornado warning.
Okay, so they've canceled the tornado warning. What we're going to do
before you go away though, let the viewers know the next storm I want to keep close eye on is over in Greene County.
Okay.
In west of Bloomington. So it's not strong rotation, but this is the type of, we're going to go to break, but we're going to be watching that little bit of hook northeast of Linton. Again, environment that still can produce tornadoes. So we're going to keep that up. Watch that one closely there west of Bloomington.
Okay, so let's stand down on Channel 13. We'll get you back to regular programming. Don't go anywhere on the stream. Stay with us. We'll have the radar up for a few minutes. We may take just a couple minutes of a break, and then we will be back on with live coverage as necessary. We'll get you back to regular programming on 13.